Welcome back, Dungeoneers. It's Sunday afternoon, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm here at the table with...
I'm David Wong. I play Nines, the Tabaxi Bard.
I'm Nicole Bates. I play Soria, the Changeling Druid.
I'm Greg, and I play Ulset Ralph, the Furbog Fighter.
And I'm Alexis Bates, your trusty, if not punchy, dungeon mistress. You're watching Dice and Dungeons. And we've got a couple announcements before we start today. Yeah, sit down. It's your turn. Nicole's telling us about a giveaway.
This week, today, I am good at this. This is the week of the day that is the big giveaway. Today is the day of the giveaway. And I am trying to read my lines and doing poorly. All right, we have been talking about this amazing dice tray all week. That's where it came in. On social media. And if you have not seen the rules to enter, here's a quick summary of what you have to do. Number 1, follow us on Dice and Dungeons. Follow us, Dice and Dungeons, on Twitter. You're like, I don't like this. Why did I choose you? Number 2, follow our sponsor, Tangen Craftworks, on Instagram. And number 3, send a DM to our mod here in Twitch chat, to our mod Raz D&D. That's Raz with 2 Z's. And send her your Insta and Twitter handles as well as your code word that our DM will be handing out after the break.
Today.
After
the break.
This week today.
Wait, what day is this happening?
Now.
Right now.
Oh,
Well,
right now.
Right now in a few hours after break. And we will announce the winner during next week's stream, which is May 30th. The winner will be contacted through Twitter DMs, and you'll have to provide us with a US shipping address so we can send you, the lucky winner, this amazing dice box. Only US residents 18 and up can apply, and the winner will be selected at random. Raz D&D will be posting links throughout chat today to both our Twitter page, Tangen Craftworks Instagram page, along with our normal sponsored content, and did it in one.
Nailed it.
All right.
Thank you, Tangen Craftworks, for your sponsorship.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
The dice tray is very beautiful. If you haven't seen pictures of it, you can go check them out. When you follow us on Twitter, they're going to be up there, and said links to both our Twitter profile and Tangen Craftworks Instagram page are going to be posted in Twitch chat by the very person you need to send a direct message to with your handles.
What she said.
And the code word.
So, if you are just tuning in, pay attention after the break, which usually happens around the 2.5 hour-ish mark of our show, and I'll be giving out the code word when we come back.
Thank you for just doing the ad read over again for me.
No problem.
Repetition helps our viewers. You know,
It does.
the, like 1 to 7 really likes that repetition.
How do you enter the giveaway, Blue?
And those over 70 don't know that you're repeating. I should know.
If you're under 7, don't enter. You have to be 18 and over.
So, the other sponsor that we have this week
You can rent an adult, right?
Probably.
Okay.
The other sponsor. Off to a good start here.
is Geekified. Geekified is a tabletop gaming store out of Vinton, Iowa that meets all your tabletop role-playing game needs. Perhaps you're looking for some cool new miniatures for your next battle, hoping to kill your players with them, or maybe you're just looking for a new role-playing game to try out. Either way, Geekified has you covered. If you use the link geekified.us/discount/dice and dungeons, that link will be posted in the chat and in the YouTube descriptions. You will get 5% off your first order using that link, and buying things through the link helps support the show. So it's a great way to entertain yourself with something new or brighten a friend's day. Thank you again to Geekified for the support. And if you are looking for a copy of the brand new Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. That is out now, and last time I checked, but it's pretty quickly changing, still had a few orders left for the limited art cover, which has a really nice theme to it, and the whole book is an updated guide to the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Von Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. I could be wrong, though, from AD&D, otherwise known as 2nd edition. And I've gotten to preview a couple things in there that are very cool. So I encourage everyone to go pick that up. Any other announcements we have? I think that's it.
I hope I don't have any more.
So that brings us to the end of the sponsors, I do believe. So, Dungeoneers, let's roll. Welcome back, Dungeoneers. Last time on Dice and Dungeons, the group returned to Nordfeld under the protection of 3 royal guards, and took some time amongst themselves to process what had happened to their friend Dromar. Once they were back in the city, it took a little time to do some shopping. Nines found himself a wonderful pair of shoes, and resupply with some basic necessities while avoiding upselling.
Shoes.
Before finally resting once more in the local company of Blade's house, after consuming the last of their rather disappointing, unfortunate meals. And that's where the following morning.
Well, it's not following morning right now. I think we should get back to our jobs.
Yeah, well, since I just waking up,
Sorry.
I think I just heard Soloth sneeze in his room, so I think he might be awake. Yeah, that's there right. It is.
Mm-hmm. I hate you.
It does sound as though he were awake.
Yeah, well, I mean, and we're right outside his door because we came to meet with Nines, who's been sleeping out here all night.
Mm-hmm. Did you find the floor comfortable?
Of course, it's good floor. And no stairs.
Yes, no stairs. That is good.
Should we knock or should we just talk out here loudly until he opens the door?
I think we should wait for him to open the door.
That would be polite.
Yes.
Last time he was very angry when I knocked on the door, so maybe we should just wait.
Yeah, it was only like 7 a.m. or something. Which is like really late or like early evening.
Good morning.
Time is confusing.
I mean, it
is dark now, so it is dark now, so it must be morning.
So.
Midnight, yeah.
No, that's pretty late in the day.
Yeah.
Well,
knock.
Execute.
You guys can just come in. I was wondering when you'd finally knock. I've been sitting here listening to all of it.
Oh, did you hear the part where we said we were gonna wait for you?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You did keep us waiting.
Do you have allergies?
Yes, I have allergies. My sneezes have now become canon. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, we have a few things to report.
I imagine so.
Who wants to report?
Go ahead and report.
You want me to report?
Yes.
Okay.
You did such a fine job earlier.
1, we were able to raid the warehouse, as we wrote to you in a letter, I believe, if I'm remembering a few episodes correctly.
believe that's right.
Yes, that's how we describe all our interactions with people in episodes.
With so we were able to reach the warehouse, capture the one in charge of the raids, Crom. He was turned over to Ludorf, who subsequently betrayed us and sold Dromar out to the royal guards. And
I mean, if I knew how much he was worth, I would have done that too, but...
And then, for a crime, he did not, well, he committed the crime, but the thing that he found, I don't think it's real. For the record. Also, there's a murder cult in the sewer.
Yes, would you like to see?
Also, we found this key, Crom had it, which we think is going to lead us to Coromonth.
Like how we just threw the murder cult right in
Okay.
there.
Well, you wanted me to deliver the update. So.
And I did not have a
let's
good
just roll
pretzel
this
day.
back for a second.
Okay. Good morning.
I think we should wait until Solov hears us on the other side of the door to let us in.
I think so. That was what we had planned.
I sure hope I'm gonna have a pretzel day tomorrow. How far back are we rolling this? Okay. Which part would you like us to elaborate on?
First, you don't. Let's talk about Dromar.
Yes.
You don't think what he did? I don't know the details of why he was taken.
Well,
Can you fill me in?
He did say that the details are like super duper secret and the reason that he's getting arrested.
Okay.
So if you want, I will tell you.
No.
It has to
don't
do
want
with
to
the
know.
royal family.
Just stop there.
Okay.
You don't believe that he did this, though? Or...
No, we think he was set up.
Interesting.
Because he said he was set up, and I believe him.
Because he always tells the truth, yes. Uh-huh.
He didn't lie
Rogues are
about
famous
his,
for that.
He didn't lie about strutting,
No. He did.
and that's mostly what he talked about.
Yes. He prevaricated, however, about the Guild of Thieves. The Thieves Guild.
Well, jury's out on that.
It's still under trial.
Yeah.
So, without imperiling my own safety and freedom, is there anything pertinent about Dromar's imprisonment?
He found out something that the royal family does not want people to know.
I think
And he found that out by being framed by other people.
he was hired for a job by someone. And we think, as far as relating to our current mission, I don't think it's related. But we think that he was sort of set up as either someone was out to get him specifically, he said, or maybe, what did he say? He thought someone might either be out to get him, or he was like a fall guy or a stooge or whatever you want to call it.
Well, knowing his reputation, can't say as it's entirely surprising that someone would want to, well, have him removed. He was apparently quite a accomplished thief in the capital city.
He had a way with doors.
So,
Could have been the 3 times second place champion of the Strut World Championship.
That might be too.
the three of you considered that your association with him may have put the three of you in danger.
Nope.
No.
I do not believe we have ever been in danger.
Except for all the times I almost died.
Or when I
Well,
was...
those don't count.
No. Sometimes Dromar and I were rear rats for almost a day.
I took care of that, don't worry.
I didn't think that was
Thank you.
dangerous, though.
Oregano.
Just all right. The three of you may want to a closer eye and who's coming up behind you. If someone wanted Dromar removed, and in that process discovered some sort of compromising information about the royal family, there may be people who want you to disappear. Those who acquire power, at least in Glindring, tend to be on a very short leash. And those who threat disappear.
I'm no expert in major geopolitics, obviously. But wasn't Coromonth working for the Republic to the south?
Corma Republic.
Aren't they related in some way to the Empire? Could they maybe want...
Well, he was, at least as far as our interrogations revealed, he was somehow involved, contractually, with elements from Costeria and from the Corma Republic. The Republic has a long history of, well, how shall I put it? Rivalry, perhaps, with Glindring. You see, most of this continent, save for Costeria, will be under the Cormarian Empire, centered in Glindring. The Corma Republic split off from that, fracturing the Empire around 200 years after the disappearance of Furven.
And when we captured Coromonth, we fought a guy who had an elf who had swords like yours. Maybe
They were similar, yes.
maybe your order that we were learning about are the Costerian elements at play here with Coromonth.
I would hate to think that Lanfiren had anything to do with Coromonth. I do not know. Perhaps yes. Perhaps it was a splinter group. Some people who had gone bad.
Yeah, the guard had said that they were sort of nationalistic, right?
He said that my armor and arms had come from an old Costerian order that was, he used a word, xenophobic. I believe that means does not like people who are not them or who are from the outside. But they were protectors of Costeria.
Maybe they're doing but I'm just wondering, since there was an elf who had your similar weapons to you, maybe that order is related to Coromonth.
And there was some hint that Coromonth was working for someone in Costeria.
Yeah.
But we would need to find Coromonth, I think, to learn more.
And that brings us to who has the key?
The murder cult?
No, the key.
Yes,
Don't worry, we'll
important
get to
things
the
right
murder
now.
cult.
So, Crom had this key on him. I'm assuming I have the key, because
Yes.
I have not checked my inventory. But here you go. We were going to take it to the finest prince to see if we could identify there's like a crest or a symbol on it.
Solith examines the key a little more closely. A lot of corrosion over the crest. And most of the key in general. But the end of it looks to be more recently used. Its teeth don't look like they have any signs of corrosion. Perhaps wherever this unlocks is still being accessed by someone. Someone connected with Crom and all this activity that we believe centered around Coromonth. After all, we haven't seen him.
I turn into Corman.
I mean, we've seen Coromonth
Oh.
before, but we haven't seen that he's the one operating here.
Wait, have you been Magellan still, or
Yeah.
did you change?
All right, now, as long as we're at Nordfeld, I'm sort of de facto. I'm just staying as Maggie.
So
'Cause,
you did just turn into Crom in a big white dress, right?
Coromonth. Yeah.
So does the
It's a row.
At this point, Solot's fairly used to this.
But we were going to see if Otto Hartfeld at the Finest Prince might be able to tell us where this key goes to.
If there's anyone in town who could, it's him.
We were also going to see if he could identify. We have a number of other house crests that were from the Fervent tech orbs we discovered.
Well, Otto is your best bet. I know almost nothing about Nordfeld, much less the more noble families that surround it.
So that's our current mission, our current status on our actual mission.
Well, continue forward. It does seem to be having an effect. Work that you are doing. There haven't been any new reported thefts of Fervent technology. Some of the noble families had reported it, and in further conversation with the Tibulk family, it seems that most of the families in the area still rely on some element of Fervent tech. Nearly all of them have had it stolen. And the few that haven't seem to have been, well, either immune from whatever wave of crime this is, or you've managed to cause enough deterrence to disrupt this.
If we are able to identify where these other orbs belong to,
Yes.
should we have this, would the Company of Blades be able to, get a reward for finding them?
I'm sure the company can facilitate something. We aren't in the business of holding objects ransom from their rightful owners, but usually we'll offer up some sort of...
Well, I think we left the orbs with Todriana, right?
The orbs in the box, yes.
The orbs in the maintenance box, yeah.
Yes. We will get but you have copies of the sigils, correct?
Yes, I wrote them down. Or I did a charcoal rubbing.
Was there anything else you wanted to discuss before we got into the murder cult?
We do not want to get into the murder cult, no.
I mean, I'm curious about how they operate, actually.
Well, they're a cult and they murder.
Why? Why are you curious about how the murder cult
There's some really
operates?
weird, freaky stuff with it. It's pretty interesting, actually.
What did you find? Was this in the sewers?
Yes. Over by Great. And the entrance, what was it? 750174?
4. Yes, 0174.
And we did tell the Royal Guards about this, full disclosure.
What did you see down there?
So there was a ritual circle in chalk,
Candles.
candles, assorted viscera of a humanoid,
A bloody knife.
hence the murder part. This knife. And I'll pull out the knife.
Not cursed. Why would you tell me if it was? He pulls out sort of a cloth and takes it from you.
Dromar did have it, so maybe it is cursed, and that's why he got arrested.
I don't see any signs of magical empowerment.
You've done some detecting magic, and I don't think you saw anything.
No, there was no magic that I could find. There were shadows that seemed to flit around,
At the edges of your vision?
but we did not see anything that would make the shadows, just shadows. And if you looked right at them, you could not see them. You could only see them
At
in
the
the side.
periphery?
Yes, that is the word.
Shadow.
Yeah.
What do you mean, shadows?
Quickly moving, flitting shadows of indeterminate shape.
You know, shadows, the darker
We only had
spots made
lamplight.
when a light shines on something against a wall, for example, and you block it and it makes a dark spot.
But there was nothing blocking
No.
that we could see.
So this wasn't in the lamplight, but in your vision this was happening?
Yes.
It was unclear, I think.
Yes,
Or
it was
to
not.
me, at least.
It did not seem to have anything to do with the light, the lantern or the candles.
And then there were runes on the wall.
runes.
Runes that caused indescribable pain when you looked at them.
Would you like to see one?
No.
I've recorded 2 of them in my journal at
Why?
great expense to myself.
Why?
And others.
To study?
Why?
Because it's something I've never seen before. It's extremely interesting. I think that might...
Just please be careful.
Oh, full disclosure, I also have a magical black radiation cube that I'm planning to study.
A magical black radiation cube.
Don't worry, it's in a box.
It's in a
Wait.
box.
Did you find a Furven power core?
Do you want us to finish with the murder cult thing first?
Yes.
Okay.
The murder cult. So, shadows moving around in your peripheral vision.
Yes.
Runes that... What would they cause you to bleed? What kind of pain is this?
That's from your eyes.
Yeah, you can bleed from your eyes a little. It's basically like...
Or a lot.
It kind of crushes your brain, that's how I'd put it. I've been through it quite a bit now, and that's how I feel like it's like a big hand is squeezing on your brain through your skull.
Would you like to see?
Absolutely not.
I've been studying it, and I get a solid feeling that these are runes that just they can't exist. And that's why it hurts so much to see them. Really interesting stuff.
Yes.
Did you find anything else with the murder cult?
There was a flash of brighter light, and then the shadows were gone.
And the runes disappeared from the wall. But not my book.
But we did not see what made it bright or why things disappeared.
Yes, I wasn't even in the same room.
Yeah,
I ran away.
He left for some
That
reason.
checks out. Okay.
Just thought you might be interested in that, since
Now, I will want to come back to the murder cult still, but do you have a Furven crystal, part of a drive engine?
Yes, but it's not a normal one.
What do you mean not a normal one?
So I talked to Triana,
Yes.
and 2 of the orbs had the regular blue crystals in it.
Yes.
And this one, I pull out my sealed box. This one is sort of this rough cut, almost jet black crystal in a cube shape. She said that she's never seen anything like it. So I wanted to see if I could learn more about it. But, I like stuff I don't know.
Like doors.
I got a good handle on doors now. You want to
Yes,
see
all
it?
doors have handles.
Takes the shielded box.
yes, very
and
good
looks
point.
inside.
I was going to... It was inside a sphere. I was going to see if Hartfeld could tell us which house had it.
He hands the box back.
Put it back in my oregano.
I've never seen anything like that. And of course, Odriana would have seen far more than I have. I've seen my fair share of Fervent tech. My sword being one of the leftover pieces from his genius, but I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen a Fervent crystal carved in that way. They're never cubic. They're usually longer, multifaceted. Some have as much as 100 sides to them. But cubic.
Well, when we were done with our mission, I was thinking I might see if I can get any more info on it from the Fervent Guard.
Can the Fervent Guard be trusted to give us information and not take the item?
We don't have to show it to them.
The Fervent Guard is not in the business of taking people's Fervent technology.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
that's
not
our
the-
job.
We return it.
Yes. And
So far, we've only returned it to a criminal, but...
yes, and we have yet to find the Fervent tech that we were hired to find.
Yes, we're very good at this. No wonder I've heard requests us by name.
Yes. Mr. by name certainly likes us. Or Ms. by name.
Ow.
Um,
Ow.
I think, is that everything to report?
Please, tell me that's everything. This is more than enough.
Nines is getting better with the ocarina.
Yes. All of the
God, we're
time.
closing with that.
You end on a high note.
All my notes are high.
Very good. I'm glad to hear that your musical prowess is furthering.
I'd say if
It's
it
almost
was,
level 2 if I was going to count it that way.
yeah, if your skills as a bard were on like a ranking from 1 to 20, you're closing in on a 2.
Congratulations.
I think we're all on the way to 2.
Foreshadowing.
I have no idea what this
No,
two thing is that you
foreshadowing.
speak.
Oh.
For our
Yes.
under 7 audience, this is, strangely, not a poop joke.
What?
But it might be someday.
For our over 70 audience, it might be a poop.
So, I was wondering, do you wish us to investigate the murder cult any further, or will you follow up?
I plan to.
Of
I
course, yes.
actually would like it if you could take me there.
Oh, yeah, like right now?
Yes, murder cults are not something that I want to overlook.
I mean, we don't actually know if it's called Murder Cult yet, what their branding is, but
Oh, that is true.
Based on what you saw in the sewers, I don't want to overlook this.
alright.
And
The one thing I do know is they're not the Thieves Guild. That's a separate entity.
Yeah, that is
It is in a very different place in the sewers.
there's a thieves guild.
I mean, sort of. Their spelling is awful and we stole all their money.
I don't know why that makes me happy, but it does.
Yes. So you wish to see the murder cult room?
Why don't we go
Can't
up?
say I wish to see it. I feel that I have a duty to investigate.
Let's go above ground.
Yes. All we do need to do is find 75-0174.
It should be nearish to the warehouse.
Well, all of the
Yeah, it's close to
sewers
that.
in the city are laid out in a gridded pattern. You simply need to follow the numbers until they're going in the direction we need.
All
Well,
right.
let us do that then.
Bring a ladder.
Execute.
I think the ladder was broken,
Yes, the
Yes,
ladder
in
was
that room it
broken.
was.
so we'll need to bring a ladder
I do have rope.
or a rope.
Some rope should be just fine.
Oh yeah, you bought rope.
Yes, I had two 22-foot pieces left from the rope that was destroyed by the
All
slime.
right, let's go.
All right.
We'll get a pretzel on the way.
If we pass a good place.
Yeah.
That last place was not so good. I did not have a pretzel day.
No, it wasn't very good. It had a lot of variety.
And
Very
one,
large
and Zoria's was very large.
Yes. I still have some.
So,
You should probably throw that away. Take it off of your neck right now.
without too much difficulty, you manage to find the entrance to the sewer that you're looking for. Having a pretty good idea of where it should be in relation to the entrance that you wanted to find in the warehouse,
Yeah, it should be just northeast.
it takes you only 45 minutes to an hour to investigate and find what you're looking for.
I bet it'd be really spooky if the place is like squeaky clean when we go down in there.
Did you want to look for a pretzel stall along the way?
Only if
You'd
it's
said
like,
so.
well,
Only-
only if it's on the way. We're not gonna
Yes,
like
we will
detour.
we will not digress from our path.
There was one on the way. It's not particularly good, but it is quick.
We'll wait for a good
No.
one.
All right.
There is nothing more disappointing than a pretzel that is not great.
Took 2 stalls for us to become pretzel snobs.
Well, technically one stall and then one storefront,
Yeah.
because the other had a little queue inside.
I think this is the sewer.
Oh. Yep, the number seems to match up. I'll
Do we
get the,
need like an ordinance or anything?
No. Although I'm sure someone will be irritated. We'll be just fine.
All right.
Well, would you like me to open the grate?
Well, that'd be nice.
I do that.
Okay. Take your
crowbar.
crowbar and pry it up.
Push
Pops
it
up pretty
aside.
easily.
Crab bar.
Crab bar. Although, I think...
Pencil.
I think you still have your raven bar. Your especially large crowbar?
It's a raven bar. Oh, God.
Oh no.
You're not allowed to do terrible jokes. Only we're allowed to do terrible jokes.
Man, you guys, I threw that out contemporaneous with you finding it, and you never caught on until now.
Nope. Nope.
And we're moving
And
on.
we're going on. I take out one of my 22-foot lengths of rope and secure it to something. I'm sure.
Probably like the
nearby.
top rung of the ladder. I
Yeah.
think it was the lower part of the ladder.
The
that
lower part was
broken.
broken, yes. I secure it to the top part of the ladder and go, well, who would like to go first?
I'll head down first. And Soloth grabs onto the rope, lowers himself slowly down into the darkness, and then gives a shout up when he's hit the bottom.
As he's going down, I'll say, I was looking through my notes and the shadows were humanoid shaped.
Well, I don't see anything down here now, so why don't the three of you come down?
All right. I climb down.
I climb down.
I climbed down as well,
Well, this is a lot less evil than the first time we were in here.
I assume.
The room, which you're very creepily familiar with, does look pretty starkly different than the last time. It's still dim down in the sewers, and Soloth has produced a bit of flame to help illuminate things. Down here, I don't see any signs of a murder or any cult.
I'll go over to where the circle was.
There's no traces of a circle left. The walls are clean.
This is a sewer. How could they be clean?
I mean, clean of the marks that had been there
Oh.
before, including the blood.
Well, clearly someone has cleaned it up.
This is not a surprise, is it?
But it was right here, and I start to draw out a ritual circle.
Just stop.
What?
Stop. I understand it was here. Don't need to recreate it for me.
I have some chalk if you would like to make the circle out of
I have-
chalk. I can-
No, we're not going to do that. I get the point.
Do you want to show Zoloth where the runes were on the wall?
Oh yeah, they're here, 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 and here. But I only was able to record these two.
He goes over, examines the spaces that you had pointed out to him.
Ooh, why don't you detect magic? See if there's anything
I can do that once.
residual floating around.
I could do that. I will. Zoloth, can you detect magic?
I don't have anything that allows me to do that.
Oh, I will. I will attempt to see if there is any magic left in this room.
Guidance. Just in case. I think it's just an ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an ability.
When you use your ability, you detect just a sort of aura that is magical, almost as though something lingers in the air. It's faint and growing fainter the longer you observe it. And
So is this something I can see or smell or hear or feel? Taste? I think I covered all five.
it's almost like there's a little string just kind of pulling on a part of your consciousness, just tugging you to sense this aura. It's kind of pinging you, making you aware when you use the detect magic ability that you have, you just sort of know these things, and you know where they are to a degree.
I think you also get to know the school if there isn't.
It's a regular detect magic spell.
It's
So I can tell. Can I tell from where it's coming?
it's just all around you, and you can tell that it would have been transmutation. No single object or thing seems to be emanating this. It's more just the space that you're in. As you move around, examining the environment, you also notice the iron bars on the southern doorway no longer there. Or is there any sign that there ever were iron bars?
After all of the effort we made to try to remove these bars here and in other places, now we see that they have simply disappeared and have left no trace.
Like, there's not even, like, fresh concrete where they were. Innocent.
No, it's as if the space that you were definitely dealing with iron bars, as if they were never even there.
Well, I report what I'm finding, which is that there's an aura of transmutation in the entire space. And that makes me wonder, and maybe others wonder, whether we're really seeing what's really there or not. So I'm going to try to walk through the space where the iron bars were.
Well, that would be illusion.
That's true, that would be illusion. What would be transmuted?
Maybe... Ooh, maybe the person they murdered, they transformed the body into some sort of horrible creature, like a
weird
a big claymation dog that goes on top of a building and summons Zool. No? Okay, just a theory. Working theory.
Well, I still try to walk through where the bars were.
You can walk right through.
Oh.
That would have been way
There's-
convenient.
There's nothing.
That would have been much easier had those not been here before when we were here. So I walk back, and I report that I'm just feeling this sense of transmutation. I don't know anything more other than that. That's what my detect magic tells me. I'm not even familiar with what that necessarily is, but I sense it all around this room, everywhere within the room
So,
equally.
Yes.
The Company of Blades must have some pretty powerful spellcasters, right?
Indeed.
If we were to pass this knife along that was being used by this cult, would they be able to use some divination magic to determine who the owner is?
I couldn't say for sure. If I'm completely honest, the workings of the arcane and divine elude me. They're not really my areas of expertise. But if you want me to pass it along, I can. We do have a few people within company that specialize in identifying and understanding magic, but there are better groups than us, that sort of thing.
Well, I feel like we should maybe keep this within the guild.
I can't say that I disagree with you, but it is your item to determine what to do.
Yes, I will give it to you.
Okay? He takes it from you.
Should we get a receipt?
It's not dry cleaning.
It does need to be cleaned.
It feels like someone dry cleaned this place. There was like blood all over and stuff, I
Yes.
think.
There was blood, there was ruins, there were shadows.
Bones and flesh.
Oddly, it doesn't look as though anyone. The stone of the sewer looks just as dirty and grimy as any other section that you've been in.
Hmm.
Just all signs of what you had experienced.
So the only
longer
proof
there.
we have that this happened, other than the transmutation magic in the air, is that dagger and my runes that make your head break.
But it seems to be. And I don't want the three of you to get the idea that I don't do.
I mean, I can just show you the runes.
No. I prefer to keep my sanity in check. There's a great deal at risk here. We must look into this for your own safety, as well as the safety of everyone in Nordfell. I'm not sure that alerting the city guards will provide much assistance in this matter, but I'll make sure they're notified in. They don't have the people who would be expert enough to tackle a problem such as this, especially if what you say is all completely true. And it's not a trick of an illusion spell or some hallucinogenic that survived.
Well, if it was, then these runes wouldn't hurt.
I'm not saying that you didn't find the runes down here.
And they definitely hurt those royal guards pretty
Yes.
bad. Like, they rolled max damage on that.
Their eyes were bleeding. It was gruesome.
But
I don't.
they asked to see them. So, it wasn't like I sprung it on them.
Well, that's good. Now, let's.
So, will you be doing the investigation? Do you want us to follow up? Will you be bringing people from the company in? I am
We
curious.
still have to stand in the sewer?
I was about to say, let's return to the surface.
And when we do, I want to see what's around this area, immediately around the sewer. Like
above it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I climb up.
This entrance. Like, what's the area?
I'm guessing you're all returning to the surface.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I
I
untie
think
my
there's
rope.
like a murder cult R Us supermarket right across the street.
Yeah, ritual daggers.
Absolutely.
Unknowable runes.
It's
I untie my rope and take it with me.
it just deep demonic horrors are us. That's what it is.
Are you gonna put the manhole back over? Or are you just
Eh.
gonna let someone fall through?
We're not getting paid to put it back.
Nines, do you think I should put the manhole cover back on? Or the grate?
I don't know.
We surround it with banana peels.
Where did we get bananas?
We're the good guys.
We ordered banana pretzels.
We didn't order anything.
We put the
I put the manhole cover back, or whatever it is, the cover thing, heavy metal thing, back, clang.
good. I'm glad we established that.
clang.
To answer your question about will I be looking into it further, I personally won't be doing much more. My areas of expertise are limited to physical combat, and, well, a pretty good eye for recruiting talent.
Oh, yes, indeed.
But
Nice is
shall-
just like scratching himself with his foot right now as he's saying that.
at least I used to. Now, I won't
But
be
you have a
looking into
shoe
this.
on now.
I won't be looking into this personally. I will be handing it off to some other individuals that might be able to do something more.
If you find anything out, will you let us know, please? We are most curious.
So long as it doesn't imperil you.
I'll figure stuff.
I don't want to pass anything on that would purposely put you, plus anyone else who works for the company, in danger.
Oh, you had said that earlier.
Mercenaries.
Yes. Either we are always in danger or not.
Or at the buffet.
Yes, the buffet. Sometimes we are in a store.
Yes, the difference is that you need to make sure you're getting paid. be put in danger. I'm not going to volunteer you for danger. You deserve to be compensated when you go out and do work and put yourself on the...
I knew that was the reason we
Bad
liked
name,
you.
though.
That reminds me of
Volunteer
so
for
much
danger.
of Jomar. When you say,
Voluntary
always getting
danger,
paid
yeah.
to do anything. Yes. I do miss him sometimes.
His scratchy,
And sometimes not.
his high-pitched scratchy voice.
I don't miss the loincloth.
Oh, you should have seen it.
I think
I'm glad I didn't.
we might still have one.
Please don't.
No, I remember I had it cleaned.
Right.
Yes.
That's literally the only thing he had left when he went
That's
on
right.
the
He left
dragon.
everything to us.
Did
Yes.
he just strip naked?
Yeah, he gave us
No,
all.
he had
that's
a
a-
loincloth.
He gave us all his stuff.
Oh, but he took the loincloth.
He
I
wore
mean,
the loincloth.
you know.
He was not just carrying it, he actually was wearing it as
Yeah.
one would wear a loincloth.
Well, that does make sense.
Can I just be looking around at what's in the area up here?
Sure.
Quick.
There's nothing of... Well, there's nothing here that strikes you as odd. There's usual warehouses, because that's kind of this region of the city. A couple of office spaces. Nothing that's really catching your eye.
Is Olsef's detect magic still active?
I think it only lasts for like a short time.
Yeah, I don't know how long it lasts.
I think like 6 seconds or a minute or something like that. 10 minutes.
It just says
10 minutes
10 minutes.
is the rule. So it's probably starting to fade now.
can I detect anything with my fading spell?
Just what you've already been detecting beneath you now. And it's quite weak. Up here it's hard.
Can I look around for signs of like tracks or anything leading out of this sewer?
There is
It's
nothing.
all cobblestone.
It's all cobblestone. There's nothing to really engage for like track finding.
But there's no like drips of blood from viscera that's being pulled out of the sewer or anything.
No. I'm not gonna have you roll for that. There's nothing like that up here.
All right.
Since Soloff told us to be paranoid, I'm gonna be paranoid and see if there's anyone kind of watching us.
That's a good point. Guidance.
All right, make a perception check.
With guidance, that will be a 19.
You take a pretty good look around. Pause. Examine your surroundings. You know, fair number of people. You've been here a couple times before, and you're fairly well aware that the warehouse district is not usually bustling with individuals. No one seems to be paying you any particular mind.
Other than that, we just climbed out of the sewer.
Well, it doesn't seem to have set off anyone's curiosity here.
That's suspicious.
Very suspicious. We'll have to interrogate/kill every one of these.
Let's not do that.
I'm joking.
Okay.
Haha,
rhymes
yes, you are
compel
joking.
me.
Ha 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 ha.
No. Sorry. What? How'd we get here?
So, I believe we have found out all there is to find out, which is not very much about the murder cult in the sewer. But it is good
Outside
that
of it's weird that they just disappeared. That's kind
They
of
might
weird.
have used transmutation magic to clean it all up.
Would that work? I am not familiar with this magic.
I don't really work in arcane magic, but I do have some studying in that field. Can I think of any sort of transmutation magic that might be used to clean or like remove evidence?
I mean, as a changeling, you're fairly familiar with the concept
Oh yeah,
of
transmutation.
transmutation. Although you've never seen a spell act in that way, perhaps in large part because being a changeling, you and all of your tribe don't usually have a whole lot of use for any sort of magic of that nature. But it wouldn't surprise you if something magical could produce a similar effect.
Would it be something that we could have done with, like, our Aura milestone?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've never used it for that purpose, but you don't have any reason to believe that
'Cause that's
an
low.
Aurat Maul couldn't be used in that.
Because that does a lot of transmutation. Okay.
Well,
And now everyone of the players and the viewers is like, the fuck is an Aurat Maul?
Stay tuned to find out more.
after the break. Okay, so let's. Do we have anything more to do with Zoloth? Shall we go on to the Finest Prince?
We're pretty close to the Finest Prince, because we're on the west side.
You are. Yep.
So, if you're satisfied, Solath, we will go on to the Finest Prince to see about this key.
I am. I'll return to the company house, and the stewards start calling in a couple of allies, as well as some of our more talented magic users. See what we can discover down here, and see if we might be able to prevent something from happening to the city. Compensated for work.
Okay.
Do you require anything else of me before I return?
No, I do not think so.
Just would like you to have a pretzel day.
Raise.
It's from the pretzel shop near the tailor that I got my suit at.
They are excellent pretzels.
That was very
Fully
descriptive.
recommend those pretzels.
They are by far the best of the 2 pretzels we have had so far.
We're really living up to this rule of 2 here in this party.
Good to know. Then I shall return to the company house. You know how to reach me if you find any more murder calls.
The pretzel stands near Vine Raiment.
Good to know.
I have to check my notes.
Well then, shall we go on to the Finest Prince?
Soloth then makes his way down the street, out of sight, and heading back.
Bye, Soli. We will see you later. And then I round the corner before he can react.
All right.
Tripping over your giant shoes.
They're not activated yet.
So, anything before you want to head over there to the Finest Prince?
No.
Okay.
Execute.
You make your way, Finest Prince. True to the description, it is on the outskirts of town, and the structure stands out quite a bit from the rest of the more traditionally Nordfeldian half-timber style buildings around it. The brick building before you sits between 2 others, both typically Nordfeldian in appearance, but this building, the Finest Prince structure, is disconnected. Unlike most of the city where the buildings are seamlessly joined together. It is only 1 story in height, a lower pitched roof than others, and windows in the front, made of stained glass all intricately pieced together. There's a front door that simply says, "Please come in."
Oh, we don't
And
even
I
have
do.
to knock. Nice. Yeah, I'll follow 9s.
And I will
Yes, we
follow
don't have
at a
to break
respectful
into
distance,
it.
as I usually do.
When you open the door, a gentle bell rings out. And it actually creates a melody. Not a simple jingling, but a gentle, glittering sort of melody that's pleasant and far less disruptive than a simple bell would be.
And this is like the same bell that you see out of the old school shops, just like sitting right at the...
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Once it stops, I hit it again.
The same sort of melody erupts from it. Slightly different. So to be distinguishable from the previous time, but similar enough where you can recognize the 2.
That is a most pleasant sound.
You should see if you can buy that bell.
I tap the bell.
Well, I pay for it when I can get the same
Once again.
experience for free. And I hit the bell again.
Once again, upon both the third and fourth hits, it creates a similar melody. A tone carries throughout each tune that ties all of them together, but the various changes through the chords, the pitch, and the timing are all slightly different from one version to the next. So as the listener should never get...
Well, we figured out what we're doing the rest of the session.
Yes. We have discovered variations on a doorbell.
Inside,
I hit it again.
it produces yet one more melody, similar to all of the others, but slightly distinct in the way that it moves.
I will enter deeper into this.
I am becoming curious as to how many variations this bell is capable of making.
Well, we can just sit here and you can hit it as long as you want.
Just
What
one
was the
more
stop
time.
sign? It says it again.
It's still with the, what are we, at the
Six.
6th and 7th hits, both times. The melody is distinctly, different from the previous iterations, although there is a tune that carries throughout, maintaining the structure.
Nice.
One melody in the next.
This is a most pleasing melody. Perhaps it is something you could use it yourself at some point.
Yes, I should get my own magic bell so I don't have to actually play instrument.
Ah.
Probably sound better than the ocarina. Inside, the smell of warm tobacco strikes Soria's nose, who is the only one who's entered more deeply into the building.
And then she hears the bell start making a noise again.
Same thing happened. There's a plush leather sofa, red, with matching chairs angled around a desk, which sits slightly lower to the ground than your average writing surface. The walls around you are a series of intricate carved wood panels. Aside from the windows and the door on the front wall, they line every other inch. As you enter, an ancient-looking portal comes out from one of the wall panels, clearly a hidden door, and sits down a very plush-looking red chair on the other side of the desk from you.
Tortle, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's something I can even change into.
They are humanoid.
Nice.
They walk on 2 feet and have arms.
Yeah, so alright. I'll have to try that out later.
So I'm gonna allow it.
I'll add it to my list. Alright. Alright, are you...
I finished enjoying the Bell Symphony, and I'm up and
Are you Otto?
join you.
Otto Hartfeld?
I'm Otto. This old, very wrinkled portal is moving quite slowly. And it seems to be draining a bit to engage with people, although there's a very large smile across his face.
Well, we came here for a few reasons. We need to identify some symbols, and we heard you're the Tortle 2C.
Symbols you need to identify?
I'll pull out my charcoal rubbing and show him first the 2 regular sphere.
Not the
So-
ruins?
Not yet. I'll build up to that. the two crests on the regular spheres we found. The ones with the regular crystals.
The old failed sigils?
I believe so.
He sort of hops down from his chair and slowly steps over to another wood panel, where he presses gently on it, and it flips around, revealing a tome. He picks the tome up and brings it back to the desk. The tome itself is quite large, about a third his height, say 1.5 feet or so. And he pops it down and flips open to a page almost by instinct, it seems. This one is the Dunrax.
Done?
Yes.
Right.
Dunrax.
Would you spell that for us, please?
D, dog, U-R-N as in Nancy, B as in boy, R-A-C-H, Durnbrock.
And is this a clan still here in town?
Yes. The Durnbrock family. They operate. Draws in the air, closes his eyes, and seems to be creating a map in his head for a moment. As that house, yes, just stated there. Nice. Days in advance.
And the second symbol?
He looks. Yes,
It's a rubbing.
easy. And then reaches underneath the desk and pulls out this sort of head contraption with many different magnifiers that can be plopped down in front of his eyes. These aren't what they used to. And puts down several magnifying layers. Takes the piece of paper. This one I don't.
Does it seem to be Nordfeldian at all?
But could also come further west.
Maybe with the Fervent Order.
Maybe.
Families all have come through here at one point or another. I'm sure I could out. Might take one.
We have several things probably for you to investigate, but yes, that would be wonderful.
Ever. No one asks me much these. Excited.
It's the next one, and I'll show him the maintenance box. Sigil.
Oh. This is sad. I just very rest is summer a family longer. The last member to track the to go.
What family?
These were the hearts.
Interheart?
the winter. Such a soul. Was the
Winter?
youngest. Oh, loved to sit. Oh. He points in a corner. Well, to have chaff. Love for all the
What was his name?
him was weak.
And
What a terrible to recover. His parents never had a child. And they passed years later. This once belonged to their family. Very much so. But I recognize them as the mate. I've seen anything. Grave many more. You should take it with care. The Fervent God appreciates any patient. They're the ones.
good to know. And I'll show him the rubbing from the sphere with the black crystal.
He looks at you for a moment. And for the first time, even after the bittersweet memory, Winterheart's, looks troubled. Paler. Colors. Where did you get this?
It was found amongst some stolen Furven tech.
He slumps back in his chair, sort of thudding.
We're looking to return things to their owners.
This one is lost its owner many years before any ever.
Who was the owner?
Sigil.
That's Furven's sigil?
I was much younger, just starting when a young Furven lad. It never know all the ants. He wanted to look a bit more presentable. He asked me to stay to see for him. That's it.
What is the sigil depict?
The sigil's a fairly plain piece of work. In the upper left corner, there are 4 quadrants. Represented on sort of a typified dwarven shield. In the upper left quadrant, there is a hammer and what looks to be crystal. From what you've seen, this looks to be kind of an amalgamation of other Furven power cores seen. In the upper right quadrant, there are horizontal stripes. In the bottom right quadrant, there's a strong-looking beard. Disembodied. Looks to represent the typical sign of dwarven strength and healthiness, good thick beard. In the bottom left, there is a sort of a stylized mountain.
Is this mountain a particular place?
Came from southern parts of where the Drang Peaks are. Asked me to represent it here. Oh, I made a mountain. I find the best crests and sigils, ones that story and quite so complicated.
What are the stripes for?
Those were his. He wanted gate technology that would allow the Empire to spread across all of the mountain. From one end of Rarity. Well, I never thought he would, but did for a time.
By stealing land from us.
This is true. There is a dark side to every light.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen this crest. I haven't seen it long enough where I forget. Last time. And this he reaches into a drawer and pulls out a long wooden pipe. And then, with a little match, and
Well, feel free to keep all of those.
What about the key?
We should get to that one last, I think, which is next. The last thing we have to ask you to study is this key, and it might be of dire importance if you can identify where it goes to. It has something on the handle.
he flips down several more layers of magnification in front of his eyes.
Just has huge eyes through the lenses.
They kind of have that effect at this point, yeah. This needs some cleaning. There's too much corrosion to identify it as it is. But it doesn't have much on for the next. However, I could clean it up and I can identify it for you if you think.
I think that would.
Are you willing to leave the key here?
I mean, he seems pretty
What are you
trusting.
gonna do? Run away?
He sets the key down at the desk.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
And there's smoke now, coming out of his nostrils and filling the room with a bit of filmy tobacco haze. I love.
Well, let me pay you.
Oh, fast. Nothing I've done yet deserves any compliment. I take.
We are obviously not noble.
Clearly.
I
Although-
refuse to charge people who aren't.
Heinz, you should get a symbol to replace your name.
Knives was just wandering around the store while you guys were having that conversation.
Just knocking over things, hitting the bell.
Hitting the bell every once in a while, just seeing if there was anything interesting.
Where did
I
you
didn't
get
participate
that
in
bell?
the conversation.
Well,
Does he not hear it?
Maybe,
I had forgotten there was a bell. I don't hear it much.
Would you be willing to sell it?
My customers too.
Fair enough.
As it pans over to Nine, just smacking it over and over.
He just sort of looks over at you and up a little bit, blinks slowly.
It's true.
Children are
You're lucky I'm too enthralled with this bell to realize what you said.
Nines.
What?
You should have this man make you a symbol to replace your name. And you can be the artist formerly known as Nines.
I don't know, will they actually do that? That doesn't seem like something I would pay for.
There are not very many things that you would pay for, is my experience.
We got pretzels and that's about it.
How long do you think it'll take to clean up the key?
hard to say. They are too many. There's a lot of muck on it. I have to be careful. Don't want to carve away the important. You're right.
And also make sure it still works as a key.
Only luck that makes it.
Do either of you have any other questions? I think I got through all the sigils.
This has been most helpful, very informative. I'm sorry that one of these made you sad.
Oh, worry. Good to feel. Anything? Yeah.
Well, you knew Furven. What is there anything else you can tell us about him? Seems like that would be an uncommon thing to find nowadays.
Ask. But was as well. Slightly less so proud. Maybe one or two. Other than what? Oh. Always having I know him. But if you're not planning out, found a great number of the crystals of it. North of why there's out.
You know, where does the energy... Well, you might not know much about it, but since you are around, did he ever tell you where the energy comes from those crystals?
Alas, I make digital crests. I craft fine things for the wealthiest of our society. Then happily, all the money they will hope to pay me, and my prices go up every year. Oh, I don't know anything about technology.
All right. I guess I just have one last question.
Or
Have you ever heard of any symbols that actively try to kill you when you look at them?
oh, although the science probably like. It looks a bit dismayed at the realization.
Nothing about runes that should not exist in this universe.
ideal things that exist in my mind help young, ambitious folk carve out a spot. I don't know anything about your discovery.
All right.
Well, since you have lived for very long and have met many people, I do have some mysteries I am investigating. I will ask quickly.
Yes. Please.
Have you
Have a good mystery.
have you ever
Kind
heard
of sticking his neck up now, just like working up.
the Order of Ramadan? I do believe it is Closterian.
I've never heard of Order of. But Ramadan, you remember, this is an old fairy tale or sort of folk hero for the elves. Seems to ring a bell. Yes.
I ring the bell again.
Ramadan was some sort of folk. I say I remember the story. I didn't drown.
Well, that is the first I have heard of that. That is most interesting. And perhaps since elves are long-lived, if I meet some, I will ask and they might know.
Oh, they would have much better knowing that.
There is one other thing. A member of the Order of Ramadan who was my teacher, very last words were in a language no one knows. I will say them to you, and please tell me if you understand them or even know their language.
Very well.
That's Dun Balim.
Sounds like an ancient. I've heard that. I did spend a few years some elvish helper. Yeah.
Did they make cookies?
No. They were honestly terrible. But they were quite skilled with a carving pen, making bright and engraving people. Made wonderful crests. And although never anything what you got it, well, sound reminiscent. Old form of elvish.
When you say old, what do you mean old?
Old like shape. All over time. And it just does it slow.
If it's not rude, how old are you?
$400?
And would this
67 what?
How long ago were these elves your helper?
I've been in no more than 3. Imagine that.
Don't say that.
All have a life. I've lived long and free. The end of how long my people enjoy.
Well, I do appreciate very much what you have told me. It is more than I have learned from anyone else, other than some people who have said very bad things about Ramadan. You have said good things. That gives me some comfort.
I've never heard anything bad about. Or that comes to mind is something about saving a family. Easy. The bad things that I say. And not.
I will do that, thank you. Toria and Nines, is there anything else we would ask?
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, just all the sigils and stuff.
Oh, do we get anything good?
Yes, we have some pretty cool stuff, actually.
And we did enjoy the playing of the
Sweet.
bells.
I think when we come back
Yes, I did keep hinting that.
he's gonna clean up the key. I think when we come back, we should bring him some lettuce. He's a
Did he
turtle.
perk up when she mentioned the word less?
He's kind of laser focused on the key that you brought him. He's still like 14 layers deep on the magnifiers right now.
Well, thank you very much, Otto. We will be back in a day or two.
I'll be.
Well, Zoria,
Yeah.
having listened to him and the information from Otto, I would make this suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
The black crystal was inside of a drive engine.
Owned by a Furven, apparently.
Yes. I would suggest that we get that back from Todriana and keep it with us.
That sounds good.
Yes. We can keep the crystal separate from the drive engine, but the engine itself is very special.
Yes, I wouldn't mind looking at that more deeply now that I know what it is.
Yes. We know where one orb belongs, and we have a box that either Todriana might wish to have in her museum, or perhaps the Fervent guards
We could get some favor from...
would yes, look on us with favor. It is up to you whether we give Todriana the first chance at the box of tools.
I mean, so far I like her more than the people we haven't met.
That is most interesting. Some of the people we have met, I believe I would like less than people we have not met.
Oh, like Crom and Koromos?
I would believe so, yes.
Yeah, but I like her more. Mm-hmm. Than, like, the baseline person.
Whatever that is, yes.
The bassist usually is the worst person in the band.
Ah, that would explain it then, Nines. Thank you.
It's gonna be like one dude that's super angry with this episode.
Did the voice play bass?
No, he didn't play anything except his stupid vocals.
Oh, he just did vocals, wow.
Yeah, then I don't know why he stole my loot then, but
Well, shall we proceed back to Todriana then?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
We go there.
I hit the bell on the way out.
You just wrench the bell.
Okay. So you're at Todriana's. Are you looking to do that?
We were looking to reclaim the orb that had the black cube in it. The one that had Furven's sigil.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll carry that. The drive engine.
Well, how do you two feel about letting her have the maintenance box?
I think that although it may have value to the Fervent Guard, Todriana has been most helpful to us and kind.
Yeah.
And she knows Zolly.
Cody?
Plus, if we need it in the future, we can just get it back.
Okay, so you had gone and signed up.
Well, tell us when we're there.
I mean, you're there. I'm just.
Okay.
I figured you guys had been outside debating what you wanted to.
Yeah. Are you good with giving her the box 9s?
Yeah, sure. Then we can just take it back whenever we need it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
We are
Heading
going.
inside. Yeah, you enter into
Execute.
Execute,
the
Toddy.
now familiar Fervent Tech Museum, and it seems that Dodorana has taken the initiative to clean the place up a little bit. You notice that the shelves are a little bit more neatly stacked, and things are arranged a little bit more carefully than the last few times. And she's been doing something about the rather musty air. It's a little bit fresher in here than the first few times you entered. Well, hey everybody! Welcome back!
Hi, Toddy.
Hello, Dottie.
Well, you cut me up a little short. I love it. I wasn't
get it.
expecting any visitors.
Well, we just
I
had
get that one too.
That is very good getting, Nines.
We just had some quick business. We were going to pick up the drive engine that we left with you, the one that had the black crystal in it.
Oh, yeah. Safe place to keep it.
I have that little box with the crystal in it.
I will be carrying the drive engine.
Well, you might want to be a little careful with this. See? Hang on. Let me go get it. She totters off to the back, and then comes out with all the pieces that you'd been piled up high in front of her. Places them down. Okay. So, the drive engine, the normal one, that's fine. Now, it's not going to do anybody any harm. As long as that crystal remains inside the orb, everything's good. But these pieces, now talking to the...
2 halves.
Yeah. These are a little bit more dangerous. Let me show you. And she claps her hands together and mutters an incantation in a language that none of you understand. And then draws her hands out over the orb pieces, and they all begin to glow very brightly. This sort of red hue. It's just emanating off of them. This is an incantation that, well, it shows when something has been filled with too much fervent energy. It's something I picked up a few years ago, and it allows me to see when I'm handling something a little bit more dangerous than usual. This here, this has been saturated with fervent energy. And you need to be very careful when you're handling it.
Yes, I am careful. I make Olsef take it.
I wouldn't store this anywhere near your person. I
Yes,
definitely...
that's why Olsef does it.
It would not be near your person.
Do you have any more of those boxes?
I have just one more. It's not gonna be small. It can hold it, but it's not gonna be... It might get scratched. I don't know if that matters.
Well, we learned a bit about this orb. Apparently, see the sigil here?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Do you know whose sigil that is?
No, I've never seen that before. But I'm not much of an expert on family crests or
This
anything.
is gonna blow your mind.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's super crazy.
It's so crazy it knocked our sign down. Now,
It blew it away.
what is it?
You want to tell her?
Oh, you can do it. You got all the information. I was hitting the bell.
Come on, somebody tell me. You
This
can't keep
is-
stringing along like this.
This is Ferven's.
No, we have to keep talking about how we're gonna do it.
This is Ferven's sigil.
What?
Yeah, we talked to Otto, who apparently made this sigil for Furven.
Wait. Otto Hartfeld,
Yeah,
the guy who runs the finest print.
really old turtle. Yeah.
Yeah, he's ancient.
Great bell.
Good bell.
Very good bell.
Got a good bell?
At the door. Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
pretty fun.
It makes variations on a doorbell. It is almost symphonic.
Oh, that sounds fancy. I've never had any occasion to visit him.
You should go and ring the bell.
Maybe I'll go over there.
Ask him all sorts of stuff about Furven.
Wait, so he made that sigil for Fervent?
That's what he said.
Yes.
And none of us did an insight check.
No.
No. We believed him because he was
Old.
Apparently.
old and slow.
Yes, always respect your elders, no matter how crazy they may sound.
So this orb.
Keep that in mind, audience.
This orb was apparently owned by Furven himself, along with this black cube that I have.
You're holding Fervent's stuff.
Yes,
I don't even know what
Fervent's
to
tech.
do. Well, wait. Okay. Keep it cool, Dad. So,
Are you okay?
you're holding a piece of Fervent technology!
This whole place is full of Furven technology.
Yeah, but like stuff that was made from designs he had, not stuff that was his. This could be like a lost artifact of power generation, some new design he was working on. It could be a prototype. This could be like the basis for everything. This could be some of the missing like technology that we needed to understand how the rest of it even works. This is the most amazing thing.
So we probably shouldn't scratch it up.
There's just like hair behind your eyes at how you like mentioned this so casually.
Because you had said the box would scratch it.
Hang on. She goes in the back and you hear you kind of hear like the opening of a crate. Just latches. Then you hear the sounds of a crate falling onto the ground, and then metallic objects sort of spilling out from it.
I think she's pouring something out.
Can I get a hand here?
I will give you a hand. Which one would you like?
Whichever one is the strongest.
Here.
She's struggling to pull a crate that's quite long and very well padded. It's about 4 feet long. It's easily much longer than she is tall, and probably weighs about as much as she does, because it's a very heavy trunk. Okay, here. I had to move some stuff out of the way, but put him in here.
Okay.
Okay, so we put Furven's drive engine into that crate. Carefully in the padded crate, right?
Yeah.
And close it.
Yes, try not to scratch it.
Okay.
I was very careful. There are no scratches on it or me.
Yes, so carefully you didn't even need to roll for it. Don't do
Rolling
that.
always produces good results. You pack all of this up, and now that everything is securely fastened and held, there's like buckle straps and things to hold everything in place. Okay. Here. From underneath her shirt that she's wearing, she pulls out this long necklace that's just got all these keys on the end of it, small keys. She's flipping through them. Here, this one. Pulls the necklace off, and takes off this one key. This is the key to this crate. Hands it to Aria. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. I couldn't resist.
Alright.
Don't tell anybody about this. don't even tell the Fervent Guard about this.
Okay. Why not?
The kind of technology that this could be was Furven's own equipment. This is potentially the most powerful piece of an artifact. I don't even know how to say it. Whoever finds this, that could make their career. It could be very dangerous if anyone knows that you have it. And you can only give it to people that are trustworthy. Something of this magnitude, it could be used for great harm. It could also be used for great good. Please be careful with it. I don't even know what this is. I have friends in the Fervent Guard. I'm gonna try to figure out who might be safe and trusted within their company. I mean, don't get me wrong, none of them are bad, but, well, there's a lot of people that are very passionate, some might say obsessive, about Fervent technology. They've staked their whole careers on finding pieces like this. The political power and influence that something like this could bring. You have to understand that when Furven died several hundred years ago, everything was lost. He wrote everything down, of course, but the power facility that he was in, the whole thing, it's just a crater. Nothing that remains has anything that we can understand anymore.
Where was that?
Oh, that was, well, I would say about 4 to 5 weeks northeast of here. If you traveled quickly, at least. It wasn't quite in the center of the Furven Wilds, but there's a big facility there.
How close would that be to where I grew up? If I was estimating.
So you actually grew up in basically smack dab in the center of the Furven Wilds. And this would have been from the westernmost coast. This would have been about a third of the way into the that not really country area. So it would have been still a good ways away from you, and you wouldn't in your life. You've never come anywhere near to that area.
I was just curious.
Nothing remains of anything that he produced, none of his notes, except for a couple of very early journals. That's why we have so much trouble maintaining it. His closest engineers and Fervent himself gone, and you don't even know if it was an accident, if it was sabotage. Yep. Some people thought that powerful families in what's now the Cormor Republic did it to purposely shatter the Empire all those years ago. I don't know about that, but not much left. Finding something that was his, it's the find of a lifetime. Be careful with who you tell about this. I think you guys can be trusted. I mean, Sully trusts you, so you must be all right. And I won't say anything. But careful.
We will be very careful and not tell anyone what it is that we have.
I don't know what on earth it is about the three of you. You just seem to keep wandering into stuff that, well, gonna get y'all killed.
Yeah, don't
Like
even
the
get
murder
us.
cult.
Do not, yeah.
Don't get us started on that murder cult.
Yes.
By the way, you live over a murder cult,
I mean,
so lock your doors.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear it.
You want to see some runes that'll hurt you horribly?
Absolutely not.
We're We're so good at all of our friends.
Well, I appreciate that you have put that in such a good crate. I will bear the crate, and we will keep it in a safe place. We will not tell you where, so that you would not be in danger.
No. If you can, don't store it at the company house. Anyone who might find out about this, go look in there first.
Well, I will take that off the list then. How heavy is this crate?
It's mostly filled with kind of padding, but there is about a half-inch of a thick metal lining. And it, I'd say it weighs probably about 50, 60 pounds.
Oh.
So not something to just put in your backpack.
No, it is unwieldy in terms of size, but not very heavy for me. For now, I will just keep it with me.
We're just gonna carry a big crate
No one
with
will
us.
notice me carrying a very large,
heavy crate.
giant, heavy crate. No.
The crate itself doesn't look particularly interesting or dissimilar from other packing crates that are used in typical transport. In other words, it's not meant to stand out in any way, shape, or form. It's meant to blend in.
Well, should we report this to Soloth even?
Well, I think Soli can be trusted. He's encountered enough Fervent tech in his life. I mean, his sword's one of the remaining relics of that time period. He can probably be trusted. Plus, turning up a piece of technology like this isn't going to benefit him any. He might have a good idea of where to store it long term.
That's what I was thinking. It's easy enough for me to carry the cube, but the larger crate.
Yes, and it would be good to keep the cube separate from the crate in case someone should find it.
I wonder how Crom/Koromoth found this.
Yes, I am speculating myself about possible reasons. It may be that he was seeking this. It may be he has no idea that Crom even had it.
It
may
wasn't
be
delivered yet.
No, it may be that Crom did not even know what he had. He was just simply stealing tech.
Yeah.
And
I
found
wouldn't
this.
think they knew what they had. They seem to actually want to get the things they want pretty quick. This was just sitting there.
Yeah. What can you tell me about the nature of the fervent energy that this is giving off?
It's powerful.
Is it natural?
Well, what do you mean?
Like, are these stones like something that are found in nature, or are they like something that Furven made?
Well, as far as I know, then Furven found them in like several mines that were once established. Once Furven disappeared, there wasn't any need to mine the crystals anymore because no one knew how to use them, basically. But I don't know if they were cause of something, if he made it out of some other material. It's not really my area of expertise. That is something the Fervent Guard would know a bit more about. I don't think it's like a state secret or anything.
You want to know some state secrets?
Yeah, we actually have some state secrets that could get you arrested.
Don't want to know those either.
Okay. No murder cults, no state secrets.
Yep,
No ruins.
absolutely.
What would one do if they had a crystal from one of the power plants?
Yep.
Even a damaged crystal.
What do you mean? What would one would get irradiated pretty quickly.
Irradiated.
Like your oregano.
Well, the man we're after, we originally encountered him in a power station with a giant cracked crystal that he was studying / trying to take.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a pretty dangerous place.
Yeah. Is
This
that
is
why
where we got this egg
Brandanigan was
from.
so pale and messed up?
I do not know.
Because he was by the crystal too long?
That is possible. I do not know. Is that something that could happen with this energy? Does it make you pale and pallid and
Bald.
Well, everyone reacts a little bit differently without knowing much about Brandanigan and who he was. The medical impacts of, well, Furven energy, they, well, let's just say you're not going to do so well for very long with them. They make people really ill. A lot of folks have weird blisters and rashes that break out over their skin if they handle it for too long or don't properly shield themselves when they do.
Well, now we know that that is most unpleasant.
I don't know if the viewers can hear it, but the cat has nestled under the table and making a fair bit of noise.
See what?
Do you wish to talk with her about the tools?
Why don't we hold the tools for now in case we need them for something with the Fervent guards?
Ah, okay.
But I think ultimately having her have them would be ideal.
Does she have the Durnbrach orb?
We can probably just bring all of the orbs back. Be stored safely.
The other two as well, then?
Yeah, since we might return those to their owners
Yes, we do know the owner of one.
of the orbs.
You do?
Yeah, the Durnbrachs.
No. Well,
Yes.
you can't say I know him.
Otto was able to identify them, and apparently they are still here.
Yeah, and the Durnbrock family, yeah. Sad, I've heard of them, but I don't really know any of them.
Well, we are able to either return it or have the company return it. The other orb, Otto is investigating further. He believes he will be able to identify the owners.
Well, alright.
So shall we take those two orbs then?
Yeah, why don't we return what we can?
Okay, and we'll leave the toolbox here with Adi for now.
Yeah. We'll have you hold on to the maintenance tools if that's alright.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they'll fit right in. She's got a couple other sets.
Okay. There's a little collection.
Yeah. I mean, she actually uses them.
That makes sense. Yeah, apparently this belonged to the Winter Hearts. Are you familiar with them?
No.
Okay. Well, they're not a family. They died out, so.
Oh, that's sad. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, Otto was pretty sad.
Otto is sad because their son Winston used to visit at his shop. They
Oh.
became friends.
That does sound sad.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I'll hold on to it for now. Guessing it was probably a family heirloom of some sort. A lot of families hang on to little pieces of Furven tech. And I was like, well, old country memorabilia.
Okay, so we take the two orbs.
Should we return to the company house? I don't think we've eaten today.
You guys have been moving around for, for a number of hours now.
Mm-hmm.
This would be about lunchtime, and you skipped right over breakfast.
We could
As well as elevensies, second
and
breakfast.
pretzel day.
and there was no pretzels.
Well, we had to recover
Let's
from
go
our
back to
bad
the-
pretzels.
Let's go back to the company house.
See if they have pretzels.
Or fritters or anything good.
Any
and
food.
and then let's ask Zoloth if he
Can hide the
wants to return the orb to
Durnbrachs.
to the Durnbrachs, or have us do that, or if he has an agent who might be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't see that there's a reason to visit the Durnbrachs. They just had something stolen from them.
Yeah, I think just returning it and getting favor with the company.
Right. And the company might be able to get a reward. We can leave the other orb there in his care until we identify where it's from. And
we have a day or two.
without telling him what it is, we can tell him that we have something Toddy thinks is valuable in the crate that no one should know about. No one should know about. He needs to trust her. but we need a place to potentially store it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like it.
Execute.
We do those
But
things.
first, lunch.
Okay,
Priorities.
The Tranya.
you're heading back to the company house for
Yes.
lunch.
Yes, and these other things.
When you
We will do this and the other things, not because they are easy. Well, they are, but because we are hungry.
Well, you're carrying a 50-pound crate. It's not that easy.
all right, you get back to the company house, and you haven't seen this steward in a while. She was there early in your visits, and it seems like her shift has come back up. When you get back in, she is preparing the midday spread, and she welcomes you all. Welcome back. I hope that your travels around the city have been pleasant.
Yes.
Yes, they have been most interesting.
We bell.
We heard a bell. It was a symphony of a bell. It was amazing.
Do we have any pretzels?
Commander Soloth did tell me that you've taken quite a shine to pretzel. I took the liberty of ordering some, as we did not have the materials on hand to make ourselves.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope they are up to your satisfaction. I'd also like to let you know, as you have been staying with us on your own the last several days, there's an party here in the house. I took the liberty of assigning rooms, keeping the three of you in your three preferred rooms.
Are they cooler than us?
I'm not one to judge,
Yes, you are.
not in that particular merit.
Well, if they are a party, I hope that they are not too loud.
Do they have like a name for their party?
Yes, we still haven't come up with one.
I'm not sure if they have a name for their group, but I can check the register if you wish me to.
Yes.
Very well. One moment. She heads off.
Meanwhile, we're having a pretzel day.
To the
I
counter
wander over to the
and-
buffet, have a pretzel. What else is there? I am really quite hungry, so I'm going to have a selection of cold cuts and breads
I'm going
and
to
some
take
cheese.
2 pretzels and make a pretzel sandwich with stuff on the table.
Okay.
Oh, like a pretzel bun.
Yeah.
Huh. That is a marvelous idea. I had not thought of that.
The
Thank you.
The lunch spread here is mostly slices of cured meats, cheeses. So there's local vegetables, some freshly prepared asparagus, but nothing too over the top. Rather simple lunchtime meal. And as the steward is flipping through the registry pages of the company, we're going to take a quick break. And when I get back, and they all get back as well, I'll be handing out the code word so that you can enter to win that lovely, lovely dice box. It is actually a really gorgeous dice box.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen them, flip it up so they can see the bottom. Little like rubber feet and everything, so you don't have to like worry about scratching it up where you place it. It doesn't really move around. It stays still. So join us when we get back from break. So you get the code word and you can enter by messaging Roz. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Stay tuned. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody. We are returning from break, and as promised, now that we are back from break, we are going to be giving away the keyword you can enter to win this very lovely dice tray from Tangen Craftworks. The keyword to message Roz D&D, our moderator, is tortle. Tortle is the keyword. So, be sure to follow us on
Spell that
Twitter.
out for us.
Tortle.
Guys in Tortle.
There's a
Be sure to follow
turtle
us
in
on
this shop.
Twitter. Be sure to follow Tangen Craftworks on Instagram. Those will be posted in the Twitch chat by our lovely moderator, Roz D&D. Message her with your handles on those two platforms after you have followed both accounts using the keyword tortle, and you'll be entered to win. Okay, everyone. Camera trickery. Let's get back to the action then.
There was not much action.
I noticed you didn't have me do any of that ad reading.
Well, we did say that I would be giving
That's
the
true.
keyword, so I figured I'd just roll with it. Got it in one.
We only have
I rolled a
one.
9.
When we left off, you were sitting down for lunch at the company house, and the steward was off to get the name of this other group that is going up to stay at the house. When she returns, informs you that the group's name is the Saltworthy.
Saltworthy.
That is a lame name.
I do not come up with the names, I simply register them.
Even Ulsa thinks that's a lame name.
Do you say that way? Even also.
Yes, just like that. If we are to ever have a name, let us not choose a name so lame.
No lame name.
No.
No lame name.
Like the even salt-worthier.
Or more salty. Or
Good Saltworthy.
The good salt.
Pretzels that to make you thirsty.
let us not have salt in our name.
I mean, we can keep just going on this for a while if you want to spend the rest of the session that way.
Okay.
No, let us talk to
gonna-
Zoloth.
I was going to pivot to Pepper's jokes right after.
Go ahead.
It doesn't come naturally anymore.
Oh,
It doesn't work.
we missed our chance.
How was lunch?
Do we all have a pretzel day?
I legitimately rolled a natural 20, so you got a
Yeah.
really amazing lunch.
Good lunch.
That
Is-
was a very good
That was
lunch.
one of the better lunches you've ever had.
Is Solat
That
in?
lunch was, that lunch was so good. Do we have a card that we can fill out to talk about how good the lunch was?
Yeah, we'll fill out a review form.
Sure. You can fill out a comment card.
5 stars?
Out
This
of
food
10?
was better than the name of that other group. 5 stars.
Okay, let's go to Zoloth then.
Now this meal was salt-worthy.
I don't know that the session got totally derailed for a minute.
It was a saltworthy people. They just...
Hey, you wanted to know the name.
I didn't want to know.
We wanted to know if we had to how good of a name we needed, and not very.
Not very good at all.
Well, by your metrics, apparently lacking a name is better than this one.
At that point, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we go to Zoloth and make a plan for these orbs?
If he's here and awake.
Well, if he is here.
What does
Amanda
that part
Soloth
matter?
is awake.
Yeah.
He's currently in his private chamber, requested not to be disturbed until the hour of at least.
And what time is it now?
About 8.
Yeah.
No. What should we do to spend? Let's spend the next hour and a
We
half
can still
ridiculing
knock on his
people's
door to
names.
see if that was just for other people, because we're
Oh,
his
yes.
favorite.
Do you still have that compass from Dromar?
Mm-hmm.
Could I borrow it?
Okay.
I want to take it to my room, not in the main hall.
Mhm.
I want to see if the black cube interacts with the compass at all, like the magnetism in the compass.
Oh, okay. So you take it out of its shielding and...
With my gloves that I got.
It doesn't seem to have any effect on the compass.
Okay.
So whatever powers this does not affect magnetic field.
I'll try the magic compass. that I
The
have.
magic
The
compass...
orb of direction.
The magic compass is not affected either.
Thank you.
That
You are welcome.
continues to point to true north.
Put it back in my pack.
Oh, I'll seal it up. I was just curious.
Okay.
Well, for the next hour and 25 minutes.
Only we had a bard to entertain us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, but they're expensive. You have to pay them a lot.
Time passes.
Do you guys just want to sit around and wait for so long?
I don't
Unless
think
you want to go, if you guys just want to tell the Saltworthy how terrible their name is. Are they in? Or they just have a room?
Okay. They just have a room, right?
They have a couple of rooms. The rooms here are all single rooms.
So this other group, what do they do? How many people are there?
If you had to rate their power, would it be like 1, 3,
Out of
5?
20.
They look more well equipped than the three of you. Not sure how to measure their skills or ability. I've never seen them in action. I'm not accustomed to judging the skills of combatants.
You don't keep that in like a registry somewhere.
I do not. My goals as our stewards is to take care of the needs of the house and staying within. We are not concerned with assigning jobs.
What sort of job
don't
are
have-
they here to do?
As far as I'm aware, they are on a security.
Hmm. For who?
Boom.
I don't find too high up them.
I don't speak Glendrang that well.
Shall we go bother Zoloth?
Not till he, told us we can bother him. I don't...
Yeah, he seemed pretty mad last night for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if the audience is going to want us to just sit around talking like this for an hour. and a
No.
half now.
Too bad.
If only we
I mean,
had
you
some
can
sort
just say, we wait.
Neither of our target demographics are going to get that joke.
An hour. That was a clock.
I got that.
No, that's a pen.
I mean, I just
Highbrow
spent the
humor
entire
of
time.
Dice and Dungeons,
We're
everybody.
just. This is so witty. I bet they all wish that we would continue for another hour and a half.
Yes, we're...
So at 10 p.m.
Okay. It's now 10. 10:02.
Oh, I can't eat another pretzel.
See, yeah, that figures you're just sitting there eating. At the hour of 10 o'clock, we'll go back and knock on Soloth's door, I take it?
Yes.
One of us will knock. You're carrying a big crate.
He
Soloth, we have great! We need you to open your door.
comes over, opens it. What do you need? You have a
We need
crate.
you to take this crate.
Why am I taking a crate?
All right.
We are getting ahead of ourselves. You are not taking the crate.
We have to hide.
I'm not taking the crate now.
We have to hide this crate.
We need to hide this crate.
Adriana said that it's super important to hide this crate.
We are getting right to
Am
the
I-
point.
What am I do? Why am I involved in any of this?
Todriana said that you are good at finding a place to hide things, and we wish to hide this crate.
And are probably trustworthy.
And we don't want to carry it
good.
everywhere.
Okay, so what do you need me to do? You need me to... Am I taking the crate? Am I not taking the crate?
All right. So this crate is locked.
Yes.
We will keep the key.
Great.
You, we have been advised that it is to be hidden somewhere where it is very unlikely to be found by anyone, and that you might know of such a place.
And that it contains something earth-shatteringly dangerous that isn't a murder cult or a secret about the royal family.
What is it with you three and finding things that are extremely dangerous?
I'm the main character in my own life.
Yeah, we're all the protagonists in our own story.
Yeah. And Name keeps asking for us.
The meta humor. Yeah.
Perhaps
I
it would
can't
be
even
better.
deal with this right now. It's like I don't know where to go with the level of meta humor on this.
Perhaps we should refocus. We wish to hide this crate in a place where no one will find it. And Todriana told us that you, although probably are trustworthy, would be able to tell us. She did not say absolutely. She just said probably. I hope that does not cause a problem between the two of you.
All of
But
the
that-
qualifications.
That you would likely know of a place like that. A place large enough to hide this crate so no one will find it.
Try a bank.
Bank. Like on a river?
Right.
We are to
You two
bury
have
it.
never seen anything. Nines. Take them to a bank.
Do you think?
Right.
The place where they
You-
take the money?
Right. You wouldn't have gone in a bank either. Okay. I will go to the bank with you. Very good.
Is this at the lake we've heard so much about?
There's several banks. There happens to be one by the lakefront.
Ah, on the bank of the lake.
Yeah.
I had not thought of that.
I mean, I suppose.
Should we be worried about erosion?
What? No. Not that kind of bank.
I'm so fuzzy on this concept.
We'll show you, and I suppose it's almost a good thing that the thief of the group isn't coming to the bank.
Well, while we are here,
Somoth begins to put on a jacket and grab an umbrella.
How do you feel about the name the Saltworthy? Good, stupid.
Have an opinion.
Okay.
I do not
do you
know how
think
you
we
can
should be
fail to have
called?
an opinion about Saltworthy. Oh.
I've heard so many group names over my years here. Most of them are stupid.
What was your
What's your-
favorite? Oh, yeah, exactly.
What was
Yeah,
my
what
favorite?
was your favorite?
I'd have to think about that one.
Were
Okay.
you in a group?
No.
Oh.
Did you have like a cool nickname though?
Like,
Like the fiery soldier? The
or like
fire knight?
the incinerator, or
Or Zoli.
Metal leg stompy man?
Don't call me that.
but Toddy calls you that.
Yes. Todriana calls me that. You do not. Do not call me solely.
Okay then.
Don't know why I even let her call me that. Ugh.
What about metal leg stompy man?
What? No. No.
We do not seem to be pleasing Somoth.
Ever.
Actually, that is true.
What 2 for 2 then?
Why would it?
Well, we did not find the orb that we had been hired to find. We did find 2 other orbs that we had not been hired to find.
Oh, yeah.
One of these orbs we have found belongs to the Dernbrock family. Otto Hartfeld told us that. Apparently it had been stolen from them because it was with all of the other things that had been recovered when we found them. The question is, would the company of Blades wish to return this to the Dernbrock family, or is this something that we should do personally?
But we can arrange for the return of the item if you wish. You can take it yourself. Don't have any particular stake in it.
Well then, why do not you arrange to have it returned to them? And I assume that if there is some sort of reward, that it will be passed on to us with the usual discount for the company.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, let us do that.
All right.
We also have this other orb. We do not yet know to whom it belongs, but we will find out soon from Otto.
Someone in the west.
All right.
And when we do, we will ask that it also be returned, if in fact it can be. Can we leave this orb with you?
No, this is as safe a place as any for something like that.
But this place is not safe enough for this crate.
You say so.
Yes. Toady
You wanna know
explicitly.
what's in it?
Toady, if I may call her that, Todriana. I will use her full name since you do not seem to like diminutives. Todriana told us that this would not be a good place to store this, and so we will try this bank of which you speak.
Yes, that's the best place I can think of. They have a safe deposit boxes there, though it looks like yours might buy something a bit larger than that. I don't know where else to store anything like that. Not in Nordfeld.
You said it's a good thing our thief isn't here for it. Is that because this place gets stolen from a lot?
They try to stop people from stealing from it ever. So, the reputation for being a thief might not be the best or the most welcome, I'd say.
I see.
Okay then.
Let's go to bank. Sounds interesting.
Yes.
This is just like a vault.
And if you say this is for people of money, I am now man with money, so it's a place for me.
Good. I think.
Why is it that Zolos always looks confused when we are with him? Is he always so confused?
I think that's just the way he looks.
Or it's us bombarding him from 3 different sides all the time.
It used to be 4.
certainly not
I would
that.
think that would, with only 3 of us, that he would be more at ease.
If you were to give us a party name, what would it be? You can think about it.
Do not ask me that question.
He also keeps telling us not to tell him things or ask him things.
Which is weird. He's our boss. We're supposed to tell him things, right?
Yes.
Only the stuff from mission related, I think.
Okay.
But he asked about the murder cult. That wasn't mission related.
Yet.
I
let's-
don't want to know about things that can get me imprisoned. That's what I don't want to know about. You are the most
Oh, like that
talkative
secret
group.
with the royal family.
It-
There's this thing about the prince you should know about. It's really interesting.
No, stop. Stop.
Let's go to the bank then.
Let's go to the lake we've heard so much about.
To the bank.
That's the lake bank.
Let's go to the bank. We go to the bank. Execute.
You know,
I'm just trying
You
to move
guys-
things along.
you guys take a long time to decide something, but when you decide it,
We're
bang!
done. We've decided.
Isn't that always best? I mean, once you decide something, why
Why talk about it?
linger
It's-
any longer? Why
Just jump right to it. It's good. So,
As we walk over, I want to insight check Soloth and see if he likes us.
go ahead.
Guidance. I haven't rolled any dice today.
You guys have been doing a lot of talking today.
17.
You don't think that he dislikes you?
That's all I asked for.
I mean, he is personally leading you through the city so that you can find some sort of safe place to store some item that he doesn't really want to know what's in there.
Since we're transporting something, and I'm with Soloff, and he reminded me to be paranoid, I want to do a perception check to see if anyone's tailing us.
That's a good idea.
That is a very good idea.
Can I assist?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. And I'll give you guidance too.
So what I roll with advantage
One of the you can only do one at a time.
Oh,
Yeah, you're taking an active.
I'll just also look, if that's okay.
Yeah, and you
Alright.
could cast guidance on yourself.
Okay.
But
I'll
you'd be
look
trying to
around.
do 2 actions at the same time.
I noticed that they're looking around, so I'm going to look around too.
Do you know what we're looking for, though?
Okay.
Do you think you're just looking for a pretzel stand?
I failed to even see anything at all.
Dirty 20.
I got a 15.
All right.
4.
Well, Seth, you walk into a light pole.
Careful with that cradle, Seth.
It was on my back. It is okay.
Nines, you feel like someone's watching.
Is it Soloff?
No.
Your tail pumping.
You feel just kind of nervous. Like you can't see if someone is tailing you for sure, but you've got this kind of just weird sense about like I think someone's tailing us, and your tail gets a little puffy. A little nervous. Soria, you not being as experienced with like people following you and like knowing what to look for, things like that. Since this is all new to you, you're not sure, but you think that there's one of Ludorf's goons about a block or 2 back.
How far is that? Like, in feet.
Probably about 300 feet or so. You know, it's a pretty fair distance off. The person is keeping a distance from you, but they've been following you and you think you recognize.
I think one of Ludorf's guys following us.
If someone is following us, it is not a good thing for them to know where we have stored this crate.
No. I will.
Maybe we should do that thing that thief did and just start serpentining through the alleys.
Yeah. Okay.
Where was Zoloth? Tell Zoloth what you have found.
I said it out loud and we're traveling as a group.
Could Zoloth hear what we're talking about?
He's standing right, like,
He's
a foot
definitely
away
within
from us.
earshot.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, you can see him right in front of you.
I see.
You
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah, but
walking
do
as
you
a
think
group.
he actually listens to us?
I don't think so.
Sometimes I don't think he listens to us.
No, he keeps telling us not to say things.
We're going to duck through this alley to try and shake this lead.
I'll follow your lead on this one. Not used to shaking tails.
Nines is.
It's really fun.
The moment that left my lips, I was like, this is gonna turn into a dumb cat joke.
As we turn down the alley, I'm going to just push myself against the wall and wait for this guy to come around, ready to cast a spell.
Okay. Is there a particular spell that you...
Charm person.
Charm person. Okay. You wait for a few minutes, and then the person who was indeed tailing you rounds the bend, and is just... You're right around the corner, right?
Yeah, it's kind of just like waiting for him to come around and then blast him with
Okay.
a charm person.
He appears around the corner and just right there. So, what's the save on that?
Wisdom 15.
Okay. Rolled quite poorly. So, this, how does your spell look?
I'm just waiting around the corner, and I just whisper in this sort of Sylvan Druidic, like, "Hey friend, where are you going?" into it, and just sort of like whisper it directly to him, so no one but him can hear.
Okay. As he rounds the corner and you whisper these strange to his ears words, looks kind of dazed for a moment, and then shakes his head around. almost as if, like a bug had flown into his face. And he looks at you and, oh, hello.
Hi, friend.
It's good to see you.
Yes, what was your name again?
Anton. My name is Anton.
Do you work for Ludorf, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah. Could you tell me why you're following us?
Make a persuasion check.
With advantage because he's charmed?
Yeah, you can have advantage.
17.
Dwarf is pretty pissed. What you guys did.
Classic Ludor.
He's not happy at all.
Oh?
Oh, no. It's, you know, you guys
Yeah, but is he like just?
took.
Is he like hiding at his
1,000
normal
gold
place,
from
just
him.
sulking?
Yeah, is he just hanging out back at his headquarters, or did he go somewhere else?
He can't even leave.
Oh, is he under house arrest?
Oh, he's got royal guards sitting outside.
Oh wow, that really sucks.
It does, yeah, it does suck for him. He tried to go out the back way at one point.
Through his tunnel?
Guards were there too.
Oh man, how'd they find out about
How
the
do they
tunnel?
even know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty bad.
Does he have any other secret entrances?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he told me to follow you all because he's really mad. He wants you all
You did a
dead.
great job, though.
Yeah, you're doing
Like,
so
You
good.
found us.
We almost didn't even notice.
I'm pretty good.
You know what?
Uh-huh.
I'm
You
pretty-
earned a pretzel.
Yeah, you get a pretzel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will buy you a pretzel. I give him a silver to go buy a pretzel.
Oh. Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Perhaps you should
where you guys headed?
tell him that he has found us, and he can go back to Ludorf and say that he has found us.
Well,
We want him to leave.
oh, yeah. Well, we're headed towards. I know it looks a little funny the way we're going. It looks like we're going to the lake, but we're actually headed to the Blackwell Bar after running a little quick errand.
We have to
Nice
drop something
spot
off
to hang out
there,
at.
you know?
It is really nice. And, I think if Ludorf wanted to find us, he should, you could tell him to send his guys, somewhere. Where would we want Ludorf to meet us and, settle things? I don't have a plan here.
Oh, perhaps you should tell Ludorf you have found us, and we wish to meet with him. But we need to meet with him in a safe place,
Yeah.
and since he cannot leave, perhaps we would meet him there.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes, you could say that we'll be coming for him.
that would make my job very easy. If you just walked right into his death trap. That would be
What kind of death
fantastic.
trap would it be?
Bad one.
Are we talking
Nasty.
like 10, 20 guys?
Lots of blades and swords and oh,
Well, I don't want to get sliced up.
No.
No.
oh, you guys are great.
specifically.
See, Soloth, we've been saying that for so long.
Well, how about this? You let Ludorf know
Yeah.
that we have an amazing treasure, really expensive. And we're gonna be hiding it outside the east gate of town, away from where the guards are, or like where he has any place to set up a trap or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be hiding it tonight.
We
can maybe,
yes.
you know.
Tonight, which is your day. I mean, you know what we mean in terms of the day-night thing here. But yes, before this day-night is over, we will be hiding it.
All of you foreigners talk so confusingly, but
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean.
But you have to hurry and go tell it to him soon, like within the hour.
Yeah. I will.
And tell him that we are heading to the Blackwell Bog right now.
Got it.
Thank you so much.
And one more
Anton.
thing.
Yeah.
One more thing, Antoine. You'll have a pretzel day.
Yeah, have a...
I will have a little day. I'm gonna go tell my boss that I found one. And you're at the bar. That's what you're headed. I appreciate that.
Of course, we are friends after all.
Yes. You're very good friend. Okay. And tell him where you will be. And then he will come kill you.
Not at the bar, though. We don't want to mess up such a nice place. Have him kill us outside of town.
Of course. Goodbye. I shall all later. Yes.
Yeah, of course, Anton.
Yes.
Probably at the murder place.
Oh, yes. It'll be sad fun.
It was good to see you again.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Go off you go. Off.
Okay.
Leave
He
right now.
he starts sort of stumbling back down the street and is just scratching his head like, what happened? But keeps going.
That'll last about an hour. And then he'll remember exactly what we did to him.
So let us go to this bank quickly.
Yeah.
We go to the bank quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I must say that was all rather impressive.
The weak-willed are easy to manipulate.
What a disturbing sentiment.
We're the good guys. We're the bank. Where all the other good guys work.
Oh. Solith leads you to what seems to be, to anyone other than the three of you who have almost no knowledge here, a pretty standard bank. Sits with a view overlooking the lake, and it seems to be quite nice. It has sort of a, wrought iron fence around it, some security guards out front, and based on the clothing of the people going in and out of the structure, it's to mostly cater to wealthy clientele.
So I am curious, do they call it a bank because it is on the bank of the lake?
I don't think so, because all institutions like this are called that.
Now I am confused.
It was the first one on the bank.
What?
The first bank, was it on a bank?
I don't know?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm not an expert with language. It's called a bank, and you put money and valuables here, and they keep it safe.
Is
Well,
that expensive?
The idea is that if you deposit money with them, they may use that money to invest in other projects that return more money to the bank. so they don't charge you for holding your money. They use it to build other projects, and occasionally they will give you a small piece of whatever money they make by investing in these other projects.
So people give them money to spend however they want, and they pretend that they didn't spend it.
No, they don't pretend they didn't spend it.
This
We
seems
give
like a
them money
scam.
to make more money.
But the money is for their money
These are the
and not
people
our
who
money.
have vaults and safes and stuff. I don't know why this became the institution that we all use in society, but it is.
Seems sketchy, but okay.
Okay, as long as they have a safe
Now that
place
you
to
put it
keep
that
this
way,
chest.
Yeah, actually, it does seem sort of sketchy.
Like, here's my money for you to earn money rather than for me to just keep and earn money with.
I suppose you have guards?
I mean,
Protect it?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, people hire us to be guards, right?
I mean, we guarded that caravan that didn't get attacked at all.
That time.
Yes. So let's go into the bank.
All right. Now that we've had a debate about the morals
Who
of
wants-
capitalism,
I learned all my morals from a fae, and even I'm questioning this.
Okay. Being the bearer of the crate, I turn to Zoloth and say, which one of these people do I speak with to find a place for safekeeping of this crate?
any of the people behind the counter.
Any one of them?
I'm sure. I don't bank here.
Which one seems the most amiable?
Insight check.
You don't have any real gauge here.
You, who are behind the counter,
Yes. How can I help you?
we have been told that you can keep things safe and secure.
Yeah, that is true.
I have here this crate, which needs to be kept very safe and very secure. Do you have a place
Even though we
where
have
you
nothing
can...
valuable in it.
No, it just needs to be very safe and very secure. No one
He's
may
just
ask,
rolling his eyes, just like, yeah, okay.
do you have such a place in this bank?
Yeah, we do. Is that all you wish to use the bank's services for? You wish to open up an account and store any funds here?
You want to take our money from us?
That is the usual function of a bank. You,
No.
however, can purchase space within our vaults to store personal items, and there's a flat rate for doing so.
What is this fat rate?
Flat rate. It is not a fat rate.
Depends on how expensive.
Is 1 gold every 6 months.
Oh, that's...
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
No. If you can promise that this crate will be kept very safe and very secure in your bank, I will agree to pay you the 1 gold after 6 months.
The gold is paid up front, not on the back end.
Can't do that.
Okay. And up front you mean now?
Correct. You must pay for the services before we provide them.
Ah, okay. I have learned a new phrase then about being upfront. I had heard. No, that is okay. I will not explain. Yes, I will pay you 1 gold up front to keep this crate safe and secure for up to 6 months. Ah, I must ask this. Must I keep it here then the entire 6 months? Or can I take it back at some point before the 6 months is up if we should require it?
You may retrieve your item whenever you wish to retrieve it. you are paying for a 6-month service. The length of that and the price of that are to be prorated.
Prorated.
If you take your item out early, you do not get a portion of the money back.
So, we must keep it safe and secure. I will agree to that. I will give you 1 gold up front.
It's sort of like how you're always up front because you have to go in front of us because you're way less likely to die.
Yeah. Sign this contract, and may I take the item in question?
No, I wish to place it myself. No one else may touch it.
No outsiders may enter our vault for the security of all of the items in there.
I must be sure that the item is actually placed in the vault. Can I watch you take it and put it in?
I suppose. How do you?
Could we also put a label on it to let people know that if they open it, they will probably die?
I don't think you're supposed to
Is
tell them
there
that
something
part.
dangerous inside? Or
Only
is this...
if the box is opened.
We're gonna need to
I
go
have
to a
a-
different
Don't
way.
open the box.
I have a quota to meet. I'm not going to ask that question.
It is perfectly safe as long as the box is locked and sealed.
There is nothing dangerous inside the box. Yes?
No.
That is correct.
Yes! Yes! There is nothing dangerous in this box.
There's nothing dangerous in the box.
Excellent. We are all agreed on this point. Very happy about that, so I can meet. Okay.
I read the contract carefully.
While he's doing that, is there any, like, upseller trying to peddle a service?
I'm surprised you're not
Like they
trying to
have
just pull the pen
pamphlets.
away from the chain on the table.
Why would I do that?
What do I need?
It's not attached to the table.
So, in my reading of the contract, do I find anything that's suspicious or
No.
difficult or
Okay.
you know?
This is
A legitimate
reading
business.
a contract from Ulseth's perspective makes about as much sense as you reading a foreign language that you don't understand. You can read the words and you have a pretty good idea of the definition of each individual word, but the construction of all this together makes basically no sense to you.
This thing you call a contract is nonsensical.
Just sign it.
Soria seems to think it is okay. I will sign it.
It doesn't look like it's any sort of magical binding contract.
It
where
is
you're
not a
going to
magical
sell
binding
your soul.
contract.
Do I
All
need to
that
put a
says
date on it
is
as
you-
well?
What?
The date.
Do I need to put a date on it as well as my signature?
Yes, the date is up on the wall.
Do you want me to put the date on the paper? I do not
Yeah,
care
yes.
about the date on
Yes.
the wall. Okay, I date that paper.
Oh,
I will watch you put the crate into the vault.
I do not get.
You know,
paid
some
enough for
people
this.
roleplay to get away from their customer service job.
This is basically a living hell for me right now.
You've been in retail now for like 3 episodes.
Not by my choosing.
I'm just realizing now that I could definitely steal stuff from this place pretty easily.
You know, when we started the channel and this campaign, you were like, I want to be a changeling, but I don't want to be a rogue. That's just so gauche. And now you're like, I could steal everything in here.
I mean, I'm horrible at like lockpicking or persuading people or anything like that, but you know, turn into like a worker here.
Yep.
Are you ready to take the crate?
Yes. Grabs the crate.
It weighs 60 pounds.
I mean, it's heavy,
drop
but he
the
can
crate.
carry it. It's not like it's some impossible thing. It's just a heavy box. He's carrying it down the hall. Since you wanted to follow, he lets you come along. And takes it into the vault. And then tells you to look away for a moment. And the guards enforce this. So while he securely stows. He doesn't want you to see how they securely store.
I'm not there.
I know. The crate has
Someone's selling me a
disappeared.
timeshare right now. So
The crate has disappeared into some sort of room. He would not let me see it go in. I did not see it come out. So hopefully it is still there.
I'm sure it is. We paid the money.
Zola says we can trust this thing called a bank. I guess we
So
must.
I was just like walking around. He was like, oh my god.
So lost. Why do you always hold your head like that?
Yeah, high headaches.
Is your
Yes.
head too heavy?
I have very bad headache.
Ah,
They're very painful. Ow. Yes, ow. That's the word.
Is it like when you look at these runes? No, just kidding.
okay. Well, there.
we safely secured it.
Well,
Hang on to the contract. That is your proof that you purchased the space and return here. If you leave your item longer than the 6 months, you will continue to store it under your name, and to retrieve it, you will simply owe us the difference between what was paid and what needs to be.
I put the contract into my story then.
There you go.
all right. Well, we have like a day and a half. Do we want to try and kill Ludor?
I'm not sure that's the best idea, but I'm not gonna stop you.
Well, I mean, he's actively trying to kill us.
In either case, I have to get back to the company house. There's some apparently very distraught young girl trying to hire someone for a job about like a musical instrument or something. I don't know. If you need my help, I'll be back at the company house.
Wait, what's this job about? I just figured it out.
What? All I know is that
Someone's looking for a music.
there's a young girl.
Someone's looking for a musical instrument.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
this is, I think there's a young girl. Something about a musical instrument. I need to go take care of this.
Oh.
Can we help?
This doesn't sound like a job for the salt worthy.
It's unrelated to them. There is no job yet. I'm going to go figure this out. If you want to come, you're more than welcome. But meantime, I need to be going to do this.
You guys want to follow Soloff for another day and a half?
Sure.
Oh, good.
Oh yes, he seems to enjoy our
Why
company very
don't
much.
we let him go ahead for like 10 minutes while we sell this necklace just really quick and without any interaction with the shopkeeper? And then we'll just catch up with him.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I'll guess a great deal. I grab the necklace.
All right.
Let us go into another retail establishment.
All right.
And see if there's a randomly generated jeweler with a quirky personality.
Does any of us have any idea of what the value of this necklace is?
Dromar had said it was worth like 300 to like 500 gold.
Okay.
Yeah, Dromar had given a ballpark appraisal for it.
Okay, execute.
Execute. Look for a jewelry
Given
shop.
that the area you're in is kind of a posh, well-to-do place, it doesn't take you too long to find a jewelry store. When you enter,
I'll give you guidance on the way in.
Is Nine's the only one going in?
No, we'll follow, but you know, He's the charismatic one.
I'm going to wait
apparently.
Yes.
I'm going to wait outside because I'm not. I wait outside at a respectful distance.
I do
Alright,
are you
realize
reading the
that as I
contract to see if you
cast
can understand
guidance, it's a concentration spell, so my charm person, if it's still up, drops on Anton.
That would have happened. And it's been about like half an hour, so it's a little early.
Yeah. But he stopped following us already, so.
Anyway, we go into the
All right.
jewelry shop.
Welcome. How may I help you today?
I have this fantastic necklace that we need to sell. To you. Jewelry person.
Yes, of course. May I see the jewelry?
Tell her we found it in the sewer.
I'm not telling her that part.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my grandma died and she left me this. So much sentimental value, but you know I need the money.
Here's
Can
that
I hand
lot.
it?
It's a lot of dead grandparents that are in the shop.
More the, it's very sentimental, but I need the money. But one moment. To examine it, if that is alright?
Alright, that's fine. I'm just gonna
Nice.
look at your stuff.
Tried to get money for it that's divisible by 3.
I can't promise anything.
Jim takes a few minutes to look over the necklace. It seems to be a bit, scuffed up in parts. The chain has little scrapes and scuffs on it.
His grandma was
buff
a pit
right
fighter.
out.
It, is there any sort of magical properties with this that I need to be concerned about?
No, I mean, my grandma was magical, but the necklace isn't.
Well, I would say that in its current state, it's, several hundred gold. I could offer you as much as 220 gold.
220? This is at least 240 gold. Because that is easily divisible by 3.
Make a persuasion check.
With guidance.
Guidance.
That is going to be... Persuasion... 25.
Nice.
I roll an 18.
In classic Nines fashion, you somehow gruffly convince someone that you're
Force of
correct.
personality.
But yes, this is worth 20 gold pieces more, because that would make it divisible by 30. That's solid reasoning.
I think that I could do 240 gold for it.
Is there a knickknack that looks really cheap that's just hanging out on the,
This is going to be the question every time you enter a store with nice stuff, isn't it?
Do you have any discount or unwanted?
Behind.
Close out.
You don't take the first offer. Or a second offer.
Do you... What exactly are you looking for? Something cheap? Something...
Something to sweeten the deal. I mean, 240 is nice. But this is a really nice necklace.
And it has a lot of sentimental value.
Especially sentimental value.
Most of the pieces here are worth more than 240 gold.
Fine, I will take the 240 gold. But if you're throwing another 30, I'll start recommending this place.
He's a famous bard.
I've never seen you before. Would I know you from something?
You better thank me for this. Yes, I toured with the famous voice.
You toured with the voice?
Yes, I did.
he's amazing.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
just
so
incredible.
talented.
Oh, sound
God,
of
and his
voice.
ass is so round too.
I'm giving you guidance again for your deception check here.
He is just. Oh,
I need to roll for this.
it's the most magical. I once saw him perform live here in Nordfeld.
When was that?
Oh, about a year ago?
Yes, I know, because I was touring then, about a year ago.
You actually were touring with The Voice about a year ago, but you never had to come to this particular city. So, you probably joined up shortly after he came here. Oh, it was a magical night. I felt just completely enthralled with him. It was amazing. I've heard, recordings, but in person, nothing. So, do you still know The Voice?
I mean, I might.
Yeah?
What's to say? Yeah.
Would he maybe be interested in purchasing something? If
I mean,
if I were
depends
to-
on what you want to sell.
we have many fine pieces of jewelry here. Many rings, brooches, pins, all sorts of things. We can even make whatever he might like. If you were to maybe introduce me to him, yeah?
I mean, I'll see what I can do. He is awfully busy because of his massive talent that I'm so jealous of.
And you're still toying with him, yeah?
I mean, I'm taking a break for my own solo works. But I know him. I still have his ear.
Okay.
If I had his ear, I would just cut it right up.
Make a deception check. I was trying to. You persuaded you're deceiving, and I think this is deceiving.
And you do have guidance.
That's gonna be a 24.
Well, if I throw in something a little extra, and you were to maybe have The Voice swing by sometime, I think that might be okay. Yeah?
I think I might be able to do that. Me, the honest bard. Nines.
What interests you here?
What's available?
A fish brooch.
Is there a particular piece of jewelry that you are interested in? Like a style ring, brooch, bracelet, a choker?
I think nines would look great with an earring.
An
Yeah.
earring. One or two?
Yeah.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Really ostentatious, though.
Yeah. There's a nice selection of earrings. Is there a particular color of like gem you'd like in it? A type of
mean-
metal?
Blue,
What
right?
goes with orange? Outside of everything.
Well, your outfit is blue, and blue sets off orange fairly nicely. Green can set off orange pretty well.
I like that you're wearing a tattered outfit right now. No shirt under your coat and stuff. And
As a musician, I'm just setting trends.
It's the dice, baby. That's all I can think of.
tap your shoes
Green
together.
earring would definitely make me look really good and get The Voice definitely over here.
Yeah, you do have green eyes, so it sort of set off your eyes.
So do you want like a stud or a hoop?
Oh, do a hoop. It's like a pirate thing.
We'll go for hoop.
Okay. Big one or smaller one?
Big as they guess.
I think I'm gonna have a smaller one because I
Okay.
just feel like someone's gonna grab it at some point. It's gonna be you.
Okay, so a small hoop earring with green gems, like an emerald.
Yes.
Okay. They do have something along those lines. And let's see. Yeah. Did you like that earring? Yeah?
Yeah. I think this definitely screams nines, and the voice. Something we're workshopping.
Well, give me one moment. Excuse me. She takes the earring and heads to the back.
I thought you didn't like the voice.
I'm lying to them.
Oh.
You can do that.
No,
There's no lie police.
I'm very well aware of lying.
No lie, please.
You were just so convincing.
This is one of my favorites. There's no lie, police. She spends 5-10 minutes in the back, and then comes out, and on the hoop, on the bottom side, she has engraved an incredibly small font. 9s plus the voice.
I hate this jewelry forever.
Yeah, I thought that you and the voice would appreciate this collaborative, maybe commemorative piece, yes? So, if he wants a matching earring, he could come here.
Oh, he will definitely want a matching earring because I am so close with the voice. I wink at
course.
Soria.
So here's your 240 gold. If it might be easier, I can give that to you as 24 platinum pieces. What's that?
Yes, let's go with that. And also, do you do piercings here?
I'll do that.
I do not. But any places that I'm sure could do that?
Okay, I'll just go to one of them and we will take the platinum and you can keep
I-
this necklace. That's incredibly sentimental value to me.
I know that the saddest pony has a piercing shop there. They do that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they have like a lot of things they do there. It was also a notary and chapel, right?
And I think they are now a tattoo parlor as well.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, that is.
Oh, I have a friend
that's why
who
they
might
call us
like a
saddest.
tattoo.
Other tattoos work with changelings. Huh.
Let's not find out.
I mean, I suppose you could get it and then just like make it disappear
Yeah,
and make it reappear, but you could do that without getting it.
without it, yeah. Do you want? Do you know where the voice has most recently performed? Since you're such a big fan.
I think his last stop. I actually think he ended his last tour in Tabaxavoy. I think that's where he was last at. But he's
I mean,
been
that
on.
sounds right. I mean,
I think he's been on break for a few months now. Probably staying in Tabaxavoy too.
That's where you're from.
yes, you're very observant, Soria.
I am. I write it all down. I have all sorts of notes about you in here.
Is there anything else that I could help you with?
No, we are
Maybe-
good. We are leaving now. Have a great
Yeah.
day.
Oh, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye! And I go through the door.
So we're not even gonna look at what this place is called, right?
No.
You now have an earring that is engraved with 9s plus the voice.
And how much platinum do we each get?
These
We
6
each
pieces.
get 8
Or 8 pieces, yes.
Nice.
Well,
I'm so used to dividing by 4.
did you have a successful venture in that retail establishment?
Yes, I got you 8 platinum, and I got this sweeter earring that's been vandalized.
Do you want me to pierce you now?
No.
I'm very good with medicine and
How
all
many
that. How many
Have
piercings?
you ever
have I
pierced
done?
anyone's ear?
Yes.
On purpose?
Yes.
With consent?
Yes.
Insight check.
Are you lying? I don't... This is your backstory.
Don't think I have, no.
I mean, I can't imagine there would be a lot of you, so make a opposed deception check.
I
Sure,
got
why
a
not?
5 because I burned all my good rolls getting
I
this
rolled
sick
a
earring.
19, so, I mean, even without guidance, that's 22.
You believe her.
I've
Did
done
they,
it.
did they look good?
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, I have all the medical stuff. I have, you know, I take care
Again.
of wounds.
I get concerned when you say you have all the medical things needed.
I'm very well trained in medicine. Like, I know how to cauterize a wound. I know how to. I can sew up a wound. I can do all sorts of stuff.
Did you have to do that for the last person you gave a piercing to?
No,
Okay, that makes me feel better.
I'm just saying, like, you'll have a professional on hand
When something goes wrong.
when something goes wrong.
Well, Seth, should I trust her to give me a pierced ear?
I am sorry, I cannot help you on that. I do not know about piercing of ears or what Zoria has been able to do. Although I did see her revive people who were mostly dead so that they were surviving.
And I stopped you from being a were-rat.
This is true. I am no longer a weir-rat.
Yes, but I don't want to be in a situation where I'm almost dead because of a pierced
Listen,
ear.
I have a needle, I have a candle, and I have a potato. I'm good to go with this.
Okay, where does the potato come in?
You
on
hold
this?
it behind the ear so that the ear doesn't move as you pierce through with the hot needle.
We're doing some, like, middle school ear piercing shit here, apparently.
Well, we can really speed this along. Do we see a place that advertises ear piercings that has a price on the poster?
If you want to go looking for something, sure.
I will do this for free.
Let's see how much a professional costs.
Okay.
So we'll take a look to see if a place advertises pierced ears.
Then we make the DM be another retail establishment.
Also, I
For
only am
whole
interested in places that have puns in the name.
Sure.
It's pierced Brosnan.
come
You
from
find
the
a place
DM.
that's called Pins and Needles, and on the outside it says piercings 24 platinum.
24 platinum!
I will literally do it just for the fun of doing it.
Just because.
Let's go to the company house and let's pierce my ear.
All right, and then we'll see about this person who wants instrument found.
Because, like, I don't feel like role playing a piercing parlor. I just don't.
No, you'd rather just DM some PvP. Because she is stabbing me.
Joar used to do that to you as well.
Yeah.
Yes, do not pierce my butt. I do not want a gold-studded butt.
It is a hoop.
I never thought of that before.
Execute.
All right.
When you get back to the company,
Do I need to
house-
make a medicine check?
Okay, if you want to just do the piercing now, you know enough about anatomy and sterilization
Yeah.
and like safety that piercing an ear, although you've never done it, is fairly simplistic.
I mean, I've sewn people's gashes up.
this-
I
like,
figure
this-
this is like...
You've never pierced an ear, but this is hardly challenging to your skill as a trained medical professional. So you're able to pierce Nine's ear.
Which ear do you want?
Left ear.
All right. Where on the ear?
Now I'm having a hard time picturing how I...
Like up on top or like down near the head?
Let's go towards the head so it doesn't flop my ear.
All right, so
One of my
just like
best
a little
features.
bit up from the head, but pretty close to it.
Yeah, let's do that.
No, I go more like that.
It's a mild discomfort, and within just a moment or two. But Daria has pierced your ear. Do you want to use any like magical healing components to like seal the wound that would normally take time to heal over?
Yeah, we're not gonna fight Ludorf, right?
That's up to you.
I'll cast Good Berry and let you use however many good berries you need to close up the wound. Probably one. It's 1 hit point per berry. And this is probably less than one.
You just like squeeze the berry onto the wound.
Yeah, I squeeze a berry on the wound.
Mechanically, that's not how it works, but I like the flavor enough where I'm going to allow it.
They do taste good.
You know, I'm just going to say, hey, that is how good berries work in this world. There we go.
There, you have a pierced ear now. That's
Didn't we kind
24
of do that
platinum.
earlier? Oh, look, I left my money in my other wallet. I will go get it.
So, now that you've done like a back alley piercing.
It was in our room.
I thought we did it in like the dining hall.
Oh yeah, probably there.
That's like in front of the other group.
When you,
Just stare at them and like shove a pin there.
Did you put the earring in?
as you were
Yeah.
like piercing Nines, you sat there and were looking out at this younger woman sitting in the lobby.
Do you think she's the one who needs the instrument?
She seems
She's
to
young and girl.
Does she look sad? They said she was sad, I think.
Looks fairly sad. Say, yeah.
Well, you're the instrument guy.
Excuse me, little girl.
But she's not really a little girl. She looks like she's in her early 20s.
Yeah,
I
all
think he
humans look
stands
alike.
I'll give you guidance.
Hello, Tabaxi God.
Hi, Tabaxi God.
So yes, my statement still stands. Hello, little girl.
Hello? For the record, she is a tongue drop. Hello?
You said you need help with instrument.
What did you say?
You said you need help with instrument, correct?
How did you know?
Oh, Soli told me.
Who?
Soli, you may know him as Soloff,
Oh,
but all his best friends call him Soli.
I need help. My grandfather's zither was stolen.
Well, I can't relate to such a thing, but I feel like I should be able to help you.
Thank you. I came home from working today, and cat shoved its butthole in frame. Thank you, cat.
Ow.
I came home from work today and I found my apartment was torn apart and my brother was knocked unconscious on the ground. Several things had been stolen, including my grandfather's zither. I'm much of a materialistic person, but my grandfather's instrument meant so much to me. He died several years ago and to learn to play it, but not very good yet.
Well, you will get there, as we will get your instrument back, because we are very good at getting things to their original owner.
Once you make a contract with the guild.
Yes,
I just put that together,
Oh, good.
and they said they would try to find someone to help. I don't have much to offer. I 8 silver. I would go to the guards for help, but they never find things.
It is fine. Just tell Zoloth that you want to ask for us by name.
Yeah, that's really important to our reputation.
You would look for...
Yes.
yes, we have a day and a half to get this for you before we have things to do. But we will definitely get this for you.
You will?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
just ask for us by name.
Okay, what is your name?
Just ask by name.
Just say Nine, Zoria, and Ulseth.
Oh, okay. My name is Anna. Anna Hockblum.
Where do you live? Where this was stolen?
Oh, I live in the southeast part of the city. Yeah. I didn't find much in the way of what evidence, clues. I think what I would call them. I worry that it's
We are.
Yeah, Thieves Guild is terrible.
Yes.
And definitely real.
Why do you think it was the Thieves Guild?
I mean, aren't they responsible for all of the crime?
I mean, most of it. Yes.
Isn't that who steals everything in the town?
That is probably why they call them thieves.
And they all work
But it was
together, which is why it's called a
organized
guild.
and
Yes.
Everything. Could you please find
Yes.
this? It would mean so much to me.
If you will tell Zoloth that you asked for us by name, that seems to be a popular way to do things. And if Zoloth is willing, he will give us the contract, and we will come to you tomorrow at your place of living and look for clues.
Yes. Yes, yeah. She writes down her address for you. Well, I'll be there. I'm keeping all of the doors and windows locked and shut tight. Just knock 3 times when you get there, and I'll know it's safe. My brother and I live, just the 2 of us.
Well, let your brother know that we will probably have some questions for him as well.
I will tell Zachary that.
Okay.
And then if we get the contract, we will see you tomorrow.
I not expect to find help. I appreciate it. You'll excuse me. I need to go home and rest now. I am feeling very out of sorts. And she gives Nines a quick hug, and then dashes out the door.
As you can see, she was so overwhelmed with how good this earring looks that she was in tears.
I know.
It looks...
Out of the back, you hear the footsteps of Commander Soloth coming down the hallway. All right, Miss Hockbloom, I have the contract all approved, and
She asked for us by name.
yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
3 for 3.
High five.
I saw you three standing there, and I already knew what was gonna happen.
Hey, Soloff, check out my earring.
Rather nice on you.
Thank
Ah.
you.
And thank you.
That's the nicest thing he ever said to anyone in
I
this
was
group.
going to say that, yeah. He's never said anything nice to us, especially to us.
This earring bears a curse that will destroy the world.
Now that we have
yes.
contract, I'm gonna get some shut-eye. It's night, right? Day?
It is night day.
It's like a little past typical dinner hour right now, but there's no reason you guys couldn't just turn in early.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some experiments on a black cube.
Oh, good.
Or
Good.
just sleep in room not near your room.
Alright.
All right. You tuck in for the evening. Soloff grumbling about something with this group. I swear to God. They're going to be the death of me.
That's called foreshadowing, folks.
Oh no.
Oh,
It wasn't meant to be. I don't have plans to kill Soloff.
good night, Zoloth.
I'm going to eat dinner.
He stops for a moment as he's walking back, shudders, and then continues on. You eat dinner?
And then, yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll
Call it
turn
all
in.
night.
All right.
Yep.
You said you wanted to experiment on the
I want to try.
crystal, basically?
Yeah, so it said that the fervent energy is coming from stones that were mined, which implies that they're a natural energy source of some sort, correct?
Yeah, they could be refined or enhanced, but it seems their base form does come from some sort of natural material.
I want to do some light druidic magics, just sort of, just to sort of see if it is a nature magic source.
All right, what do you...
Just sort of like experimenting with how the energy coming off of it interacts with things, with plants.
Okay. So... You place the cube floor in your room and take a few potted plants that are within. Using your druidic magic, you try to coax them to interact with the stone, be near it, and just observe how they are kind of feeling, how these plants react to it. And the plants, at first, they don't want to go near stone. But after a little while, they seem to not mind it so much. And a while longer, they always seem to want to be near the stone. Your observations feel sort of nature. Is there anything else you'd like to try and cover?
I just, I guess I'm curious if the energy coming off of it is there a way for me to determine if it is intrinsic to the material or if it was something that was like altered to cause that? Is there a way for me?
With this particular piece, you don't have like a baseline here to compare against. Never having studied one of the crystals up close, so you don't know what a control group would be. This particular item, you sense a strong magical energy coming from it. You don't know what. The type of magical energy is unfamiliar to you. Not something you've encountered before. And you don't know how to interact with it. You don't know how to coax it out. This is beyond what you've been trained at. A spell cap.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I will leave it for tonight, but I will place, if I can fit one, I'll place one of the plants in with the box. Inside the box.
I mean, the box is rather small.
Right.
Well, so it would be hard to fit like a potted plant in there because there's just like not enough room for even the pot to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
You could place it near to the box, though.
Well, it's shielded. Alright, I'll leave it for now.
Or you could leave it open if you so desire.
I don't desire to.
Just making sure that you knew you could. Since you walked around with it just like in an oregano pouch for a while.
I'll check my oregano too tonight.
Yes, oregano we still use.
It's a magic spice pouch that generates the spice when I want it, so it's not technically a bag full of oregano all the time.
It's just always.
That's not how Nines understands it.
What are you looking for in the bag? Like, what are you checking for?
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm just making sure it's safe.
You don't have any training on how to check for that, so you don't know.
I will.
That's a great question for the Fervent Guard.
I guess in the long run, I would like to start trying to develop a way to detect, based on what I saw Toddy doing, detect fervent energy.
She might be able to teach you that.
Okay. And then I'll just work on lockpicking before bed.
Okay. Roll the D100.
D100. 84.
Okay. And if you wouldn't mind writing that result down. Is there anything else that other people want to do as you are bedding down for the evening?
Just have a pretzel night.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I have to do a pretzel.
Did anyone else have a pretzel at dinner? You specifically?
We had pretzels at lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Been a while.
We always have pretzels all the time.
Your diet is pretzel now. How healthy. Go ahead and make it. Anyone who wants to make a pretzel day check, you can make a pretzel day check.
I am, for the second time, I got a 1 on my pretzel.
Oh no.
And it's just a regular pretzel.
I got a 10.
13. No.
You know, they're pretty good.
They are. I mean, they ordered in pretzels, but they didn't know where to really get them, so we didn't get the best.
No.
But it was thoughtful.
But they were not bad pretzels. Mm-hmm. They just were hardly. They were hardly your sewer pretzel.
Bad pretzel.
And on that cat scratching note, we will head off for the day. We're gonna sign off with a reminder that the code word for the giveaway is tortle. If you haven't already sent to our wonderful moderator, Roz with 2 Z's, D&D, a message with your instant Twitter handles so we can verify. Yet anyone who wants to enter this giveaway is indeed following us on Twitter and Tangen Craftworks on Instagram. I encourage you to do so. We will be in the chat room for a little while longer after our broadcast video portion concludes. We'll just be sticking around the chat for a little bit so that you have a chance to conclude that. Thank you for watching. We love you all. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck.